I'm pretty sure that stock is pretty tall. So.
They have no idea what bless them. They're doing the best they can over there.
Yeah, they're trying. Bless their hearts. Oh my gosh. All right. So, Felice, thanks for joining us today.
I know. Fun time.
Yeah.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Oh my gosh. No,
I mean, they're not really.
We are. You're just an amazing human being, and I'm just so excited that you're here with us today.
The feeling is mutual.
Yeah. So, let's see here.
Tap the screen. Wait, can we all just tap the screen? We all know how I am. Let's just, tapping is clapping. Let's get that tapping going. I think we can get to 1 million likes today. Easy. It's a Tuesday. The goal is 1 million likes.
Hell yes. 1 million likes. So nice. We got Felice here today, guys. Like, we got to respect the guest wishes. 1 million likes. Let's get on it. Have you seen the doge.muskwatch.com tracker that someone created? Well, you need to go to it through a Chrome browser. It's doge.muskwatch.com, and an independent journalist and a bunch of computer scientists created it, and it audits Elmo's lies on the Doge wall of receipts. What is it? Doge.muskwatch.com. Okay, let's see.
And it has the claimed cuts.
Yeah.
They cut 115 billion.
Yeah. And
Doge itemized cuts.
Yep.
38, and the verified cancelable funding is now 7.7 billion.
Yeah.
This is the best tool. Anytime Elmo updates the site, they update this.
I love this.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. Let me.
You can break it down by state, and you can look at what state, in your own state, what contracts have been canceled, what's going on. Tell everyone.
That's amazing. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, look at that. Amazing. Wow. Yeah. This is a great freaking tool.
It's amazing.
Yes.
His name's Judd, Judd Legum, Legum. He's an independent journalist. He's the creator of it. He's awesome.
Love it. Yeah. No, this is a.
It's free for now. Probably won't be forever.
It's
doge.muskwatch.com. There are people. Seabass, will you put it in the will you write it in the chat? Doge.muskwatch.com. This is what it looks like.
This is what it looks like right here. Doge.
It's, you see the 115 billion are the claimed cuts.
Yeah.
That's what Elmo's saying he has done. These are the itemized cuts.
Yep.
In the middle.
And then the verifiable canceled funding right over here. The itemized cuts. Yeah. So basically we're a little off from that $2 trillion that they talk about all the time.
Elon's Elmo. I still hang out on X. I'm the last. I have to hang out on X for my show to keep up to date on what these people are up to. And if you don't know, Elon types his name too fast and he keeps typing Elmo. So everyone started calling him Elmo.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. I love that he does that. Do you see that he sold Twitter to his other AI company?
It's so embarrassing at this point.
Yeah.
I can't even do it. Did you see him in Wisconsin on Sunday? Today's election day.
Today is election day in Wisconsin.
And Florida. The Florida special elections are happening.
Yep.
The Gay Valamont versus Jimmy Patrone, the guy not from Florida. I mean, this will tell a lot, because I can say this. And this is a true story, and I'm just going to overshare a bit. The last narcissist I dated, the last relationship I was in years and years ago, a real narcissist, he lived in the 1st District in Florida, which is also known as the Redneck Riviera. I don't know, it's like Destin, Pensacola. There's all the military base. It's all military bases. He worked on the Air Force Base. Anyways. And that's how I know so well the 1st District of Florida. That is one of the deepest red districts I've ever spent. I have never in my life experienced some place like that. So let's just say, I mean, I'm a realist. I would love us to win that election, but if we're even in the ballpark,
right?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why Matt Gates's daddy bought him that seat, because he would never lose it.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's I love
beautiful beaches, though. I love Destin.
Yeah, I love I love what Gay Vallimont stands for and what she's doing down there. She is a strong candidate. It's an uphill battle in that district, but I love what and Josh Wheel. I think he's a good candidate down there also. And then of course in Wisconsin today, we need people to come out and vote for Crawford. Vote no to the amendment. And for Underly. So all right.
Did you see that? Did you see Elmo spent like $6 million on ads, and then because he has like 18-year-olds working for him who are idiots, and they used the wrong picture. They used the wrong Crawford, like just another woman.
Amazing. Which
doesn't matter.
Googled somebody named Susan Crawford and took the first one that popped up.
Susan P. Crawford or something. Yeah. It's not even the right person. Yesterday was so informative. Thank you so much. People's Receipts will be back tomorrow at 11:30 Pacific Time, 2:30 Eastern. I love doing it too. It's a group effort. Thanks for being there.
It always is. Yeah. Did you see this was reported this morning that the Trump administration accidentally sent a Maryland father to the El Salvadorian mega prison?
Well, yeah, and also a couple women.
Yeah.
There were the women that were sent to an all men's prison, and then they're like, "Hey, we can't keep these women here because they might be unalive
because
we don't take women in an all men's prison."
Yep. This was I'm hopefully I don't mess up his name too bad, but Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who immigrated here in 2009. Is that right? I can't remember 2011. From El Salvador to escape gang violence as they were threatening to kidnap him and unalive him and extort him and whatnot. He did get wrapped up in some things in 2019, but he has no criminal record. ICE accused him of being a member of MS-13. He has no criminal record, and according to his attorneys, the accusations were flimsy at best, and that he was targeted by police for simply wearing a Chicago Bulls branded clothing while waiting for work outside of a Home Depot. And during the proceedings, he applied for asylum and protection under the United Nations Convention Against Torture, and a judge granted him withholding from removal. And the government didn't appeal this ruling. Like, they didn't appeal it. So a judge said, no, he cannot be deported. He needs to stay here. We're granting his request. And the government was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then this was in 2019. So 4 years later, 5 years later, 6 years later, he gets wrapped up in all of this and deported back to El Salvador anyway. And JD Vance, the absolute couch loving vice president, has come out and said, I don't know why we're making such a big deal about deporting gang members. Well, you fucking didn't.
Not.
Because you didn't. You absolute toenail.
I sent you a thread from like one of the most famous immigration lawyers in the country. Look at that up.
Yeah.
And then this is amazing. Like, it literally goes through. So he goes through and finds like the literal guide ICE is using to identify gang tattoos for TDA are actually stock photos. And he goes through and identifies every single photo. You can put it up in the background and says, these are the ones. And that's how, what's his name? Andrew, there's a gay makeup artist who's stuck in CCOT in El Salvador right now. Yeah. And this is a man who had a crown that said mom and a
Yeah.
crown that said dad on his
Yep.
arms,
And that's what got him. There was an autism awareness tattoo that got a guy wrapped up in that. There was a guy who had a Real Madrid soccer team tattoo that got wrapped up in all of this and deported to El Salvador. This is absolutely insane.
Well, and listen to this. So they got a hold. So because the ACLU is fighting this in court, right? And discovery is going on. So they got a hold of the documents, like the checklist. Like, how would you fall under the Alien Enemies Act? Which this is literally, you would have to be working against the U.S., endangering our lives, planning T attacks, things. That's what the Alien Enemies Act is for.
Yes.
And the ACLU got a hold of the checklist. It's called the Alien Enemies Act Validation Guide, confirming all it takes to be sent to rotten prison in El Salvador is having an ICE tattoo, and an ICE officer says it doesn't have to be is a gang tattoo.
Yeah.
And 2, displaying logos, symbols, or clothes, like you're saying, the jersey, which they're just saying is any sports jersey. Or clothes, an ICE officer says they don't have. It doesn't have to be real or gang signs.
Yep.
Right? It's a total of 8 points on this checklist spreadsheet. Here, I'll send this to you so you have the thread because it's good to know. And then this is a immigration attorney like going through the checklist. And here's an example. In order for ICE to declare someone an alien enemy, ICE must first determine, number one, they are Venezuelan over the age of 14. So, military-aged men, as they like to say. Those 14-year-olds are always out there being dangerous. And then second, find 8 points on a scoring guide they randomly made up.
Yep.
It's 4 points for having alleged gang tattoos and 4 points for displaying gang logos or symbols. That could be a Chicago Bulls jersey. That could be a Real Madrid jersey. That could be anything. This checklist is shocking. A person can only be declared an alien enemy based only on communications with someone ICE says is a gang member. So you text someone ICE says is a gang member.
Yep.
That's 6 points right there. And the craziest part is, if you don't even have to get to the full 8 points. If you get to 6 points, so one text to someone they say is a gang member, one text to someone that it doesn't have to be, but they say it is, and then you get a supervisor to sign off, you end up in CCOT in El Salvador.
So here are, according to documents filed by the ACLU, this is what Felice is talking about, an unclassified ICE document showing what it alleges are Tren de Agua tattoos, and the New York Post published these also. But these are all just stock images of tattoos.
Every man that graduated high school in from 2000 to 2015 has those nautical stars.
100%.
Don't leave. If you have a tan and you have those tattoos, don't
cover
leave
that
the
shit up.
country.
Cover that shit up because you're getting. This is insane. I mean, it's not insane. It's malicious and intentional. Because all this is here's how we're justifying deporting brown people. That's all this is. This is, see, these are all gang tattoos. I'm like, bitch, these are literally tattoos that are hanging up on it's your first tattoo, pick from the board.
No, and I just want to say, I want to be clear. This document was filed, given to the ACLU in discovery, and they reverse image searched these photos. That's what Aaron Ranklin Melnick is doing. He's one of the best immigration lawyers. He testifies before Congress all the time. Look him up, follow him. And he's reverse image searching these photos. Nothing to do with gang members. These are not arms of gang members.
No.
These are random people. One's a British guy in 2015 who owns a tattoo parlor. Another is a Thai tattoo parlor. You go through them. These are just random people. They found most of them on Pinterest.
Yeah. Somebody's like, is that the Michael Jordan thing? Yes. Yes, it is. That's Michael
That's
Jordan.
the jump man.
Number 23. The jump man, right? Number 23, right there. If you have that, fine. But if you have a bunch of white nationalist shit, you can be Secretary of Defense. So that's good. We winning, guys. Insane. This is but yeah. So They deported Mr. Abrego Garcia on a plane to El Salvador. The government has come out and be like, yeah, we made a mistake, but we can't get him back because he's no longer in our custody.
The plane that left yesterday, because at like 5:25 in the morning. Well, I'm in Arizona where there's no daylight savings, so I'm technically like 3 hours behind you. But at like 5:25 my time, so 8:25 your time. Like Marco Rubio posted something yesterday and was like, "We got a bunch more and mailed them to El Salvador."
No, this was the 2 planes that left that the judge was like, turn that shit around. And they're like, too late. They're already outside airspace.
And they weren't.
Like, nope. And, then Tom Homan goes out and he's like, we're going to keep doing it anyway. Fuck you, judges. Right? Is what he said. And so, so this was on March 15th. And here's the thing. The government... The ICE has come out and said, yeah, we messed up and sent this dude, but now we can't get him back because he's not in our custody and our courts don't have jurisdiction over it. And El Salvador is not giving him up. So this man who fled to the United States from El Salvador to avoid gang violence and extortion and kidnapping from El Salvador gangs was granted refugee status and asylum here in the United States, has now been deported to the country that he was granted asylum from and is in the worst prison in the world in that country. Amazing.
Same. The gay makeup artist, Andrew, similar thing. I mean, he's fleeing gang violence in Venezuela. Also, I've lived in South America for a while. It's a very unsafe place to be part of the LGBTQI in general, especially for men. Not great at all. Fled. Now is ending up back in CCOT. And like if people are asking, because there's no lawsuit currently in the United States to get him out that Aaron Reichlin-Melnick knows about, but they are filing, like some people in Venezuela are filing like habeas corpus lawsuits with El Salvador to try to get people out of there. But I mean, Bukele doesn't care about anyone. I mean, we had the world's most facts. Hi, welcome. Come talk to us. If you're not working. We used to have the world's most prisoners by percentage. And then here comes El Salvador, and he jailed most of his huge percentage of his country's prisoners. Now is accepting prisoners from the United States. And if you don't know, CCOT is a labor camp.
Yes.
These are concentration camps.
They are.
Full on.
100%. 100% concentration camps. They live in completely packed like sardines dormitories where the beds are just metal racks that house like 6 or 7 high, right? And you're talking in a room that is probably no bigger than your normal living room, and they're just shoving people in there. The conditions are fucking terrible across the board. It's the most dangerous prison, in the world. And it's like you said, it's a fucking concentration camp. That's all it is. It is a concentration camp.
It's the modern day Gestapo. Did you see the video of Chrissy Nome, like
in front of the fucking, yes. Yeah, I did.
She's an embarrassment to herself and everyone else.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, everybody in this administration is an embarrassment to themselves and everyone else. But across the board.
But this is a slave labor population that he is interning literally and using to fuel his own economy. I mean, we do the same thing in the United States.
We do.
This is an economic move. He is enslaving people, interning them never to be released. He's not giving people due process by all accounts in El Salvador, and they will work there forever to fuel his economic needs.
Yep.
Hey, Jade. Guys, tap the screen. Let's get to 100K. Tap, tap, tap. Tapping is clapping.
All right. Breaking news. Attorney General Pam Bondi is directing federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione.
That's what you get when you go after a rich person.
I guess.
No, that's what it is. They have to make an example out of him. We can't, as they torment us further, right? As late stage capitalism deepens into authoritarianism, fascism, because you can't be free forever. The more you're oppressed, the worse it gets. They have to make an example of this guy and say, hey, we're going to make your lives really hard. Like in the words of Peter Thiel, if you've ever read his essays, we're all just free range cattle. Like they want to just put ankle monitors or chips on all of us, and as long as we're productive and working, to get hand off the surplus to our corporate overlords and donor class, then we can remain free. But if we become a problem, then we'll be put in a work camp. I mean, that's their literal plan, and they can't have people getting it into their heads that you can off rich people or corporate CEOs.
Yep. So that's coming out. That just dropped. That the DOJ is going to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione. I got another news story from a friend of mine. A woman in where's this? Michigan, Detroit, or is it? No, not Detroit, just in Michigan. Her name is Veronica Ramirez Verduzco. Probably fucked that up. Verduzco. Yeah. She called the police because she was being abused.
Oh, I know. I was talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
This is that law that this is why the Democrats were screaming about it on the House floor. This is what AOC was talking about.
Yep.
If you're an undocumented immigrant, you're working, trying to do your job. She worked in a nursing home.
Yep.
She was assaulted.
Yep.
She was being assaulted. She was in a dangerous situation. She called the police for help.
Yep.
And now she's being disappeared and deported.
Yep.
So she's the victim.
She's the victim.
And if you call the police, that's what that's the point that they were making. Well, let me say, not all Democrats, because some Democrats voted for that, but the progressives were on the House floor saying, what you're saying is, if you're a victimizer, find an undocumented immigrant to grape.
Yeah.
Because they can't do anything about it. They call, they're leaving.
Yep. And it was the Laken Riley Act, right? Was what it was?
Yes. I just hate saying that. It's like Senate Bill 5. I just hate saying her name because you won't stop.
Right. But yeah, this is what it was. So she was abused. She called the police for help. And now she's being deported. That's it. Like, this is the law. Like, this is just like what Felice was saying. This is exactly what everyone said was going to happen. And so now you have created a situation where you have people that are in this country that are undocumented, that are going to be abused, and they're not going to report it. You're going to have people that are unalived, and they're not going to report it. Because if they do, right, not only the person that's the victim of this, but also the people that report it can be wrapped up and deported for doing it. And so you're just going to see. Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, that's what happened. She's like, I'm being assaulted. And they're like, we're going to disappear you now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then the other one is, what is her name? Rumaisa Ozturk. I was talking. Yeah. Rumaisa. I'm sorry. That's she's a Turkish PhD student at Tufts. And I just want to be clear. Mahmoud Khalil did nothing. Right? Before we have this conversation, I just want to say, and I'm going to say this as kindly as possible, I'm sure there's some MAGA listening. If you have a brain, which and some of you do not, so I get it. It's not working. It's not firing on all cylinders. But if you can follow a line of logic, then this is where you take a stand.
Yes.
Because of this, we should be in the streets. We are talking about legal permanent residents, people with green cards, student visas who... And again, Mahmoud Khalil did nothing. But was denied due process. And I know, it's become, I understand that MAGA can't read. They can't read. They definitely can't understand the Constitution. Mm-hmm. But even
people here on visas have First Amendment rights.
Yep.
This might come as a shock to you,
Yep.
but they do. Still, they have presented no evidence of anything Mahmoud Khalil has done in court to this day. But at least he was, maybe more seen in the community as an activist or something. You know what I mean? Like, at least that was a thing.
Yeah.
Rumaisa Ozturk is a PhD student who people are like, she never even comes out of her room.
Yeah.
Like, this is the meekest, shyest person. She has never done one thing. She co-authored with 2 other people.
Yep.
And I want to say this very slowly for MAGA, an opinion.
Right.
An opinion essay in a college newspaper.
Yep.
Then there's a doxing site, which I'll say someone we all know, but for their own safety, I can't talk about it, who this recently also happened to. There are activist MAGA groups who are too dumb to do any real research and are just putting people on lists on the both on the dark web and on these activist apps and websites and doxing them.
Yes.
Rumaisa Ozturk realized that she was doxed like in the beginning of March and was on one of these sites, and there was a link to her essay. That's all it said.
Yep.
That's it. She's never done. All she did was with 2 other people co-author an opinion piece.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And now gone, disappeared. And have you seen the video here? Also, I can.
Oh yeah,
I've
seen the video. Yeah, where they it's
heartbreaking.
It is. It's terrifying.
And she's so nice and so meek. They shush her and she's quiet. Like, I would have gone limp and screamed bloody murder. Like, you know what I mean? But they're just like, shh, shh. And she's so quiet. She's like, okay. Like, grabbed off the street. I have it.
Hold on, I got it right here. Let me see if I can, because this is, let me just get to the, all right, here we go.
And to arrest the woman outside her Massachusetts home wearing masks and plain clothes. And late today, what Secretary of State Marco Rubio said when asked about her arrest. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
This is the moment federal agents in masks and hoodies detain Tufts University doctoral student Rumaisa Ozturk.
Where the police?
The Turkish national handcuffed and led away, one of at least a half dozen international students targeted in recent weeks after voicing support for Palestinians.
If ICE comes to your door!
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can find the...
I'll send you the 59 seconds where it's silent and you can see it's how scared. You can hear her like...
Yeah.
Terrified. Here, I'm going to send it to you. Give me 1 second. And where I got this, someone asked where this clip, like the raw footage that came from the security camera. It's in a New York Times article. Here, Matt, I just texted it to you. I'll find the article and I'll send it to everyone in my Discord, and I'll send the article to Matt, and then he can do the same. But that's where I found the raw footage of this. That's like heartbreaking.
Here we go. This is Middle East Eye here.
I texted you the video too.
I'll show you everything. Yep. You're fine.
Are you looking scary? Where the police? Where the police?
Where the police?
Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces? I see some faces here. How do I know this is the police? It's like a police. You're a police like me.
I sent the New York Times article as a gift article to everyone in my Discord, and I'll send you the link too, Matt, so you can send it to people. Because I never use those articles. Me as well.
This is just, I mean, this is the United States of America right now, guys. This is
someone who never did anything wrong. But again, I just want to be clear. No one they have done this to has done anything wrong.
No.
Except for have an opinion. Like Marco Rubio. Did you see well, let me play the clip of Marco. Have you seen the clip of Marco Rubio talking about it? Because this is what they do. They lie, they misdirect, they spew misinformation and disinformation. And he just goes like, a reporter directly asks him about this and is like, what do you think you're doing? And then he just obfuscates and is like, well, this is what these people are doing. Nothing of what this woman has done or any of the people they've disappeared, none of which they presented evidence in court, but they say they're starting riots on campuses and things of that nature here.
Yeah.
I'll play the sound. Give me 1 second.
In Boston was detained and handcuffed on the street by plainclothes agents. A year ago, she wrote an opinion piece about the Gaza war. Could you help us understand what the specific action she took led to her visa being revoked? And what was your State Department's role in that process?
We revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you...
Oh, we lost you, Felice.
No, sorry. I just want to say something. Did you hear what he said? So I want to be clear. What he's doing is also sending a message to other authoritarian countries. You guys should do this too.
You can do this too. Any country can do this.
Let me talk to everyone around the world. Like we are unjustly denying people due process. You should do it too.
You can do it also.
We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you...
Yeah, so just to be clear, none of the people that they've done this to have done any of those things that he just listed. That was just a list of random things that none of these people have done.
Yep.
A visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa. And once you've lost your visa, you're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country. So it's just that simple. I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid for any country in the world to welcome people into their country that are going to go to your universities as visitors. They're visitors. And say, I'm going to your universities to start a riot. I'm going to your...
So just to clarify that misdirection and lie, these people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars
of their own money
up to PhD. They are fueling our economy. They are not here on a travel visa creating they're not on vacation creating problems. These people are doing us a favor, fueling the US economy to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. They are here very much legally. So like everything, bless Lil Marco, it must be hard living without a spine.
Universities to take over a library and harass people. I don't care what movement you're involved in. Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt?
You like J6?
I was going to say, they don't care what movement it is.
They're mad about people taking over a library? What about if someone takes over the Capitol? Would that be a thing?
You get a pardon. You get a pardon, and you get hailed as a hero.
It's this man, and I'll talk about it in a second. I hate Lil Marco.
Yes.
He gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away. I encourage every country to do that, by the way, because I think it's crazy to invite students into your country.
Deny due process to everyone in every country. Democracy is over. Lil Marco, you should be ashamed. He comes from Cuba, too, and used to spew that this is what he hated. You are a fucking hypocrite.
That are coming onto your campus and destabilizing it. We're just not going to have it. So we'll revoke your visa, and once your visa is revoked, you're illegally in the country and you have to leave. Every country in the world has a right to decide who comes in as a visitor and who doesn't. If you invite me into your home because you say, I want to come to your house for dinner, and I go to your house and I start putting mud on your couch and spray painting your kitchen, I bet you're going to kick me out. Well, we're going to do the same thing if you come into the United States as a visitor and create a ruckus for us. We don't want.
Okay, so I just want everyone to know, is co-authoring an opinion. This is an opinion piece with two people. Is that breaking into someone's house and spray painting their kitchen? Right. Like, and this is for you, MAGA, because I know some of you are listening. If you can't fall, I know you could not find your way out of a paper bag to save your lives, but if you fall for that, you're an idiot. Like that. There's no other. I'm sorry. There's no other way to say it.
It's the same stupid arguments that they always make, right? It's the same stupid arguments. Well, if somebody comes into your home and starts setting your couch on fire, you're probably going to kick them out. These are not the same situations, Marco. These are not. This is a woman who co-authored an opinion piece because she disagrees with the way that the United States government is handling situations in Palestine. This is a situation where a man organized a protest to speak out against the way that the United States government is handling the situation or not handling the situation in Palestine. And instead of giving these individuals due process of law, you're just rounding them up, revoking their visas, and kicking them out. And you're not just sending them home, you're sending them to El Salvador prisons where you know for a fact that they're probably not coming out of it.
Well, and it's an appeal to economics because I get it, MAGA. Most of you are devoid of empathy at this point and just think, I don't care about other humans that are brown. And black. I understand that about you, but I can appeal to your wallet. You are biting off your nose to spite your face.
Yes.
Our economy will contract because of this.
Yep.
I was watching, there's this video. Walter Masterson was in the street. You know, I love Walter Masterson.
I love Walter.
I know, he's amazing. He was in the streets, like talking to, idiots and just saying, how much do you think, undocumented immigrants have paid into your Social Security and Medicare? Let me help you.
This.
MAGA doesn't know anything about it. They're like, none. We're paying for them.
Yeah.
How much do you think undocumented immigrants pay into the tax system every year? Zero?
Nothing.
Oh, probably nothing.
Undocumented, I would guess zero. Why would they pay anything?
My guess is nothing.
Since they're undocumented, $0.
$100? $100. 2022, they paid $96 billion into Social Security and Medicare, just undocumented. I really don't know what to say about it. 2022, they paid $96 billion into the Social Security Medicare system.
It seems ludicrous that there would be that kind of money coming in.
You are 100% right. Given everything we've heard, it sounds absurd. It sounds insane. Just like an alternate reality, right? It runs counter to the entire narrative that we've been getting the past several years. The undocumented immigrants, they paid into the system. They pay it into the system.
Okay.
So through ITN number.
So undocumented immigrants?
Undocumented immigrants. They pay Medicare, they pay Social Security. They don't get Social Security.
Right, but they pay into it.
They pay
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
They're not aware of anything.
No,
and that's the
not.
thing. They pay into it. They come here. They work. And I just want to be clear. I'm a labor rights advocate. I do not think that having a slave labor class, because that's the reality. Like, you have to understand why the Republicans have no vested interest in ending undocumented labor, right? I mean, The reality is that they want it. They want a working class, a lower class of laborers who have no rights so they can be exploited.
100%.
Capitalism runs on either slave labor or the absolute cheapest labor possible. That's why we had to offshore our factories. When we got labor laws, that's why we don't have factories here. They don't want to pay people.
Exactly.
If they can't have sweatshops here, they had to offshore it. That's what globalism is. It's the offshoring of factories that are engaging in the labor rights violations.
100%. Yep.
And that's the point. These people are fueling our economy. It is projected, and this is from the Peterson Institute of International Economics, one of my favorite think tanks.
Yep.
They did a study. If we deport, I believe it's 10 million people, our economy will contract worse than in 2008. It's like 7.4%.
Yeah.
It's projected to contract. So good luck.
Yeah. Essentially.
You're biting off your nose to spite your face.
Exactly.
They told you brown people had your money, undocumented immigrants had your money, and the fact that you believed it is mind-boggling.
Wild. And I saw in the comments, one of my friends down there, El Chicano Marine, is talking about how ICE is now using IRS data to find individuals with ITIN numbers to then deport them. I want y'all to understand what I just said. ICE is using IRS data to go after individuals with ITIN numbers. These are individuals that are paying into the system but cannot benefit from it, to deport them.
Why follow the line of logic? Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the question is, why would they do that? The point is, if you haven't seen the pattern yet, because like, as I talk about all the time, I see the world in patterns. Like I don't hear people talk, I just watch people. And the point is, what conservatives are doing, they break things to point out they're broken, so then they can privatize them and take them over. And that's the point. They are breaking Social Security. It's not broken enough because they're saying it's insolvent. It's not insolvent. Let me help you. Let me tell you how to make Social Security and Medicare solvent. I can do it right now. There's a cap. If you don't know this, because of conservatives, because rich people don't want to pay taxes, there's a cap. So let's say you make $10 million a year, right?
Yep.
You only pay into Social Security and Medicare up to, I think this year it's like $167,000.
Something like
you
that.
are not taxed after that.
Yep.
If we raise the cap, which there are bills to do this, sponsored by Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, to I think it's like 275,000. Don't even tax the whole 10 million. Just tax up to 275,000, solvent for another 75 years. Period.
Yep.
They're always acting like it's insolvent, it's going to break. There's nothing we could do. Yeah, you guys could pay taxes. That's what we could do.
That's what I keep talking about. These systems are being set up purposefully to fail so that they can point to them
100%.
and say, this is why the government shouldn't be in charge of things. It's like let me use little Marco's logic here. I go to your house and kick your door in and then convince you that doors don't work. That's what conservatives in this country are doing.
The bag is like, brown people broke my door.
Yeah, exactly. Look at what the government, this is why the government shouldn't be involved in doors. Look what happened to your door. You should we need to get rid of government doors. That's if we're going to use the stupidity, Marco, then let's use the stupidity. It's like Donald Trump coming in and saying that he's saving TikTok. Like, motherfucker, you started the fire.
He's the arsonist.
He's like, if I set your house on fire and then put the fire out, do I get a thank you for that? No.
But I put the fire out. Guys. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. And they do the same thing with the VA, where they continuously underfund and understaff the VA to make it difficult for veterans to get the care that they need. And then they point to that as why we shouldn't have socialized medicine in the United States of America, ignoring the fact that every single senator and representative in Congress is on socialized medicine, and they never point to that one as an issue ever. That one is never talked about by Congress ever. Do you know why? Because they adequately fund their own goddamn health care. They adequately staff their own fucking health care. I want to find this clip because I'm very passionate about this. TRICARE is some of the best healthcare that they have, right? Yeah. There's this woman here. I'll play this. So this woman, her name's Dr. Danielle Martin, right? She's famous. She's a Canadian doctor. Was
this her testimony on Capitol? Oh my God, I loved it.
Senator Burr was trying to be like, and
so
then she mopped the floor with him. Yeah. And she is if you know who Dr. Danielle Martin is, you can see her debate people on universal basic income, all sorts of people. Don't bring a knife to a pew pew fight is what happened to this man. But okay, so this is Canada is one of the many countries, developed countries of the world that has a single payer universal healthcare system, what we need in America. And this Republican senator tried to attack her about it. And she, bless his heart, it didn't go well.
It did not.
Canadian patients on a waiting list die each year. Do you know?
I don't, sir, but I know that there are 45,000 in America who die waiting because they don't have insurance at all.
Dr. Martin, in your testimony, you note that Canadian doctors exiting the public system for the private sector has had the effect of increasing waiting lists for patients seeking public health care. Why are doctors exiting the public system in Canada?
Thank you for your question, Senator. If I didn't express myself in a way that make myself understood, I apologize.
She said, you're an idiot and you can't understand me, so I'm going to now speak slowly for you.
Let me break this down Barney style for you.
I didn't realize I was talking to an idiot.
Express myself in a way that make myself understood. I apologize. There are no doctors exiting the public system in Canada. And in fact, we see a net influx of physicians from the United States into the Canadian system over the last number of years. What I did say was that the solution to the wait time challenge that we have in Canada, which we do have a difficult time with waits for elective medical procedures, does not.
Now, let me explain, because Mag, I know you don't know what words mean. Elective means non-emergency. It's just something you want to do because you want to do it. Right. It's not life or death.
Yep.
In moving away from our single payer system towards a multi-payer system. And that's borne out by the experience of Australia. So Australia used to have a single tier system and in the 1990s moved to a multiple payer system where private insurance was permitted. And what they found was in those areas of Australia where private insurance was being taken up and utilized, waits in the public system became longer.
What do you say to an elected official who goes to Florida and not the Canadian system to have a heart valve replaced?
It's actually interesting because, in fact, the people who are the pioneers of that particular surgery are in Toronto at the Peter Monk Cardiac Center, just down the street from where I work. So what I say is that sometimes people have a perception, and I believe that actually this is fueled in part by media discourse, that going to where you pay more for something, that necessarily makes it better, but it's not actually borne out by the evidence on outcomes. And what we've found is that actually working within the single payer system, we can reorganize things. I waited more than 30 minutes at the security line to get into this building today. And when I arrived in the lobby, I noticed across the hall that there was a second entry point with no lineup whatsoever. Sometimes it's not actually about the amount of resources that you have, but rather about how you organize people in order to use your queues most effectively. And that's what we're working to do, because we believe that when you try to address wait times, you should do it in a way that benefits everyone, not just people who can afford to pay.
And that's how they're trying to order our society. Last part is the most important. What is going on? Trump saying, you have $5 million, then anyone can come here. I'll let you become a U.S. citizen. We are ordering our society in the U.S. now to say, anybody with money, you have value. If you don't have money, unalive in line.
Right.
Period.
And I do want to clarify one thing. Elective surgeries are surgeries that are scheduled, but they're scheduled because they're not life-threatening.
Yeah, they're non-emergent.
Yeah, they're not emergent.
They're non-emergent surgery. So it's not because MAGA can't read. I love statistical analysis. I always do statistical analysis. There are many types of universal healthcare. That's the point. Single payer healthcare systems, like the one Spain has, is different than the UK, which is different than Canada, which is different than France. They're all different. But and So the point is, they're non-emergent
Right.
surgeries. You are
Yep.
not going to unalive waiting in
If
line.
you don't get it in the next 42 hours, right? Yeah, that's the key. If it's something that is life-threatening, you get the care that you need. But fun fact, you don't pay tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars for it. You just get it. That's the difference. I think something that is like completely broken down, and I don't think it's something that is pointed out enough when we're talking about single payer healthcare systems or socialized medicine or anything like that. For some reason, the disconnect in the United States of America is that this argument is, I don't want some government bureaucrat telling me what procedures I can and can't get. Not realizing that private insurance is literally guys in suits telling you what procedures you can and can't get. That's the system we have right now is literally the thing that every single conservative complains about socialized medicine being. I don't want somebody that doesn't know what my doctor telling me what I can and can't do. That is literally the private healthcare industry right now. That's literally how it works. You want to know why Luigi did what he did? Go look up what happened to his mom. Go look up what happened to his mom. You want to know why he did it? Go look it up. Read his story. That's the system
and
we live
spine,
in.
And his own spine.
That's the system we live in right now. They're so fucking terrified of this nebulous boogeyman that the conservative right in Congress and in the media has convinced them would then enter the room when they need health care, because they're too dumb to understand how fucking insurance works right now. That is the system. And then
and
they're
just
like,
to be clear,
go
like,
ahead.
can I just, I mean, this is the point too. And it's true. I don't want my government telling me what doctor to go to, what procedures to have. But this, I mean, Matt's absolutely right that right now the same thing is happening to you. And these are people, but the point is, what is intent? What is their intent, right? Who are they beholden to? Like, let me just help you out because I know BAGA doesn't get what capitalism is. They have no vested interest in keeping you alive. Let me help you. The federal government has a vested interest in American citizens staying alive and being healthy. And in fact, private insurance companies have the exact opposite objective. Who are they beholden to? Who do they have a responsibility to? Not you, not me. They have a responsibility to their shareholders. To cut costs, to deny surgeries. Right?
Absolutely.
To deliver profits to the shareholders, to the donor class. They have a vested interest in us not continuing to live. That's cheaper, in fact, for them.
Right. I always say the number one thing that insurance companies in this country do are find reasons why they don't have to pay out. Because for every claim that they don't have to pay out on, that's money they get to keep. It's the same thing with car insurance, right? Car insurance companies operate under the same model, right? The less that they have to pay out, the more that they get to keep, the more that their shareholders benefit. You suffer the consequences of that predatory capitalist bullshit. And here's the other thing that I was going to say. For some reason, you all think that conservatives, specifically MAGA in the fucking world, seems to think that if we move to a single payer healthcare system, you're now going to have to pay for two healthcare systems. I have to keep my private insurance and pay for this other guy's insurance? No, stupid. You can get rid of your private insurance and just have health care. That's the thing. I don't want to pay for somebody else's, and that God. Now I'm going on for the thing.
No,
I don't want to pay for somebody else's health
and on
care.
top of that, you already are.
You are. That's what insurance is. You're literally doing that.
You're in a pool of people and paying for other people's health care.
You're literally doing it right now.
But more than that, it gets even worse. It's not just your own private insurance pool that you're paying for other people's health care. You uninsured people in the United States, you're paying for that too.
Yes.
It's our tax dollars. Congratulations. And we are paying top dollar for it. Where if we were in a single payer system and we could collective bargain, that would change.
Yeah. The United States of America pays something like $3 trillion or whatnot a year in healthcare. Exponentially more than every other nation that has a universal single payer socialized medicine system. Exponentially more. And we have people are like, oh, well, wait times are terrible there. Wait times are terrible here. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wait times, you can't even call a doctor if you don't have insurance.
Exactly.
There's millions of people that have to wait until, and like, I'll explain this, Maggie, because I know you don't understand words. So there's two types of healthcare systems. There's preventative, which is a single payer system, and there's emergent. In America, we have the most expensive kind, which is emergent. We wait till stage 4 of cancer, stage 4 of liver cancer to show up in the ER and be like, I can't wait any longer. I'm in so much pain. I'm dying. That is the most expensive way to treat something. Whereas if you have universal healthcare and you are doing screenings and preventative measures and can afford to go to the doctor regularly, that is a much cheaper system. You're not waiting until it's a crisis and at the most expensive point.
Yep. Exactly.
But hospitals are paid per procedure now, right? That's why they don't want to switch. They have a vested capitalistic interest in us staying sick and being sick forever.
Yep. Exactly. And that was the point of my video that I made about the VA the other day, which was why do you think that the government is making all these cuts to VA administrators and providers and whatnot? And I said, it's because it's cheaper to bury a veteran than to care for one. And I mean, that's the truth. That is a hard truth that some people needed to hear, is that it is cheaper to put a veteran into the ground than it is to put them into a hospital bed. Put them into a hospital bed. Put them into a nursing home. That's the point of it. That's the fucking point, right? It's all about making sure that the people that are getting the money keep the money and don't have to spend the money. It's hoarding resources at the expense of everybody else. That's it. That's all it is. Y'all want y'all want to know what the American dream is? It's to keep you poor, sick, and uneducated so that the top 1% can take advantage of you and make themselves richer. That's the American dream. That is the American dream.
Hey, Brett, thank you for the heart. Guys, we made it to 100K. Keep tapping the screen. You guys are doing awesome. You are so appreciated. And thanks for everyone subscribing and sharing the live. Share the live with as many people as possible.
It's crazy.
Sorry.
No. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I'm your hype girl.
Love it. Love it. But that's the whole thing. Like, and this all just goes back to, a breakdown in education, and understanding and competency in the United States, right? Specifically in areas that don't want you to be educated. You know why the Department of Education was so important? It's because it forced districts to educate everybody equally, right? It made up those shortfalls for those districts that, because as we know, school districts are funded through property taxes, right? Majority of school districts are funded through property taxes. So if you have a more affluent area, the property taxes are going to be higher. That school district is going to be funded better. If you are in a less affluent area, that school district is not going to be funded as well. And that's where the Department of Education comes in to make up that shortfall so that the students that are going to the less affluent school district aren't shorted because they didn't actually grow up in an area that had more money. That was the whole point of the Department of Education. That was the whole point. That is the point, to ensure equity in education. That's it.
Listen, I used to be a teacher, so if you want to go here, don't make me go off. I will go off.
And I'm telling you, and Felice, let me just ask you, why did we need the Department of Education? Like, what were the states not doing that brought the federal government to be like, we need to have a department?
Well, just real quick, please don't correct my pronunciation of words in the chat. I had to go to speech therapy for years when I was a child to pronounce things correctly. So if it's not to your liking, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it correct, but you should have seen me before. I'm much
You're doing
better.
awesome. You're the shit.
No, I mean, truly, someone just said I pronounce. It's preventative, not ative. Literally just did that. Like, I literally had to go to speech therapy for that. So thank you for pointing out my weaknesses. That's pretty petty and ridiculous.
You're amazing.
Anyways, moving along from that, like, I can't believe some people on the internet are real. But in reality, so anyways, Department of Education, yeah, like, let's talk about states' rights, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what this all goes back to. Why did we have to establish the Department of Education? Because the way the school system was formed was based around Jim Crow laws, right? They're like, what? Shocking. Oh, what? It's racism and bigotry and classism all rolled into one.
What? Crazy.
I mean, and so that's the truth. They said, how can we keep black and brown people from learning to read? Think about it. Oh, we'll fund school districts based off taxes, right? Based off property taxes. That's why there's some schools in I'm a native Phoenician. I was born and raised in Arizona, swing state. That's why there's some schools in Arizona that look like a airport. Like, a new airport was just built, and then there's these shabby schools that are falling down and like look like they literally, if a strong wind comes, like they're not going to make it through.
Right.
That's because public schools are funded through property tax, and the Department of Education was meant to create equity in that system. Clearly, people are getting a rough deal here and don't have the resources, the amount of money per child. If you're a teacher, you know about this. The amount of money allocated per child matters. And if you live in a nice district, lots of money per child. If you live in a poor area, no money per child.
Yep.
So the federal government stepped in and said, hey, we need to create equity and equality in the public school system. And it's not just about race or class. It's also about for disabled people as well. Right. These are people on IEPs as well.
Yep.
That's what the Department of Education does. So if you're like, why would they want to abolish the Department of Education? They want to abolish equity.
Right.
And equality.
Yeah. They want to make sure that the poor kids stay poor so that they can exploit them for military service and labor. That's
the point. Now that we're moving towards authoritarian fascism and we're going to deport people, who is going to be the slave labor class?
Oh,
now it's children.
I was going to say, I know, because Florida's doing it right now. Florida is proposing a law right now that would remove restrictions on teenagers working overnights and not having to have breaks and not being allowed to be paid minimum wage, or not required to be paid minimum wage. Why would Florida be doing that right now? Could it be because there is a shortfall of fucking laborers in their state? Because
get the kids back in the mines and the fields and the factories. They have tiny little hands.
Work. Oh,
their tiny little bodies will be perfect in those mines.
Exactly. Their tiny hands can get into places in those machines that our adult hands can't. So there you go. So when we talk about all of the, listen, here's the thing. Everything that happens in this country with the federal government, specifically with the way that Donald Trump and the fascist conservative Republicans are moving forward with all of this, everything's connected. Everything is connected. Nothing is happening in a vacuum, right? Nothing. It is all connected. Get rid of the Department of Education. Why? So that we can make sure that the poor kids stay poor so that we can exploit them for labor. Well, why would we need to do that? Because we've got a labor shortage because we're deporting a bunch of people that want to come here to work to better their lives. So how are those connected? Well, if we don't have laborers and we don't have adults that want to do it, we'll just use kids.
And who are the kids that are most vulnerable to this? They are and I hate this word, I'm just going to say it because it's a way to refer, they're the children that were born in America of undocumented immigrants. Mm-hmm. They're the children in religious fundamentalism, right? Homeschool your kids. Use school vouchers. Don't even homeschool them. Nobody's tracking. I talk about this all the time. Like, at least charter schools. And I'm going to speak about the state of Arizona. I could speak about school vouchers all day. I mean, all of that is another attempt to defund public schools. Yep. You hear people say, I want my money to follow my child. Every parent can get a school voucher. What's the effing problem? Well, yep. I can help you work through what the problem is. They don't, right? Like, so Arizona is a great example. We have had school vouchers since I was a young child, and you can get a school voucher, but what happens? Where are private schools? Where are private schools? Are they in poor areas?
No.
So you have to drive. Now, if your parents are working, like my parents worked like 3, 4 jobs, 5 jobs sometimes between them to make ends meet. Can you drive your kid to school? Do you have money to send them in an Uber? Can you get a carpool for them? Do you have money for school lunches, right? That's why the government created school lunch programs. Do you have money to pay for their school lunch? Do you have money for their uniforms, their extracurricular activities? And let me help you. And I'm going to look up this article and send it to you because it's the best. And here's the thing. Let's say somehow you're one of the few people who has all of that. Even then, they don't have to let you in. Mm-hmm. ProPublica, who is one of my favorite news outlets, they are former like Pulitzer Prize winning journalists, and they're a nonprofit, so no one can control what they're up to. They are tracking the school voucher system in the South, and guess what it's being used for? Segregation schools. Because even they can say, hey, everyone has a school voucher, but for some reason, they won't let brown and black kids into the schools. It's the strangest thing. And in Arizona, I can say 97% of school vouchers are being used by upper middle class white children. So if you ever hear someone say, everyone gets a school voucher, like, it's fine. No, it's not.
Yeah. And let's talk about the move from a public school to a private school, solution here, right? Situation, whatever. Right here is a report out of Ohio on the 26th of March about a school that is limiting the number of IEP students that they are bringing into this private school, right? And so they are taken case by case here. Nope, your IEP is too extensive. We're not bringing you in. You've got too much on your IEP. We're not bringing you in. That's the way that private schools are allowed to operate, right? So your child has autism and has an IEP, like my son. Guess what? Public schools goes away. There is no guarantee that he gets an education, because no private school is mandated to accept him with his IEP. He could come. I could pay for him to go there. He just won't get the services that he needs to be successful.
They don't have them. They're not available. So you take money out of public schools where there are the services that disabled or, children who just need extra help. I was one of those kids. I'm neurodivergent. So I needed a little extra help.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know any students that don't need a little bit of work, right? Every student is operating at a different level when they go into school. And the great teachers that are out there know how to differentiate and teach those students at their level, where they're at. But what we've got now is a system that's being set up that says, oh, you're a student that I have to spend more time on. No, thanks. Florida's hiring. That's where we're at. This is what conservative Republicans want in this country. They want private schools. Why? Because private schools can deny anybody from entry into their school. They're not beholden to federal regulations. They can say, no, I don't want to bring that brown person into this school. It's just like Felice said, it's all about segregation. It's segregating different cultures, races, disabilities, so that only the people that the school thinks. Why do private schools test better than public schools? Because they can select who the fuck they keep in there. Everybody's like, oh, but private schools do so much better. Yeah, because they don't let the children that need additional help come.
And listen to this. So this is a ProPublica article called Segregation Academies Across the South Are Getting Millions in Taxpayer Dollars. In North Carolina alone, we identified 39 of these likely segregation academies that are still operating that have received voucher money. Of these, 20 schools reported student bodies that were at least 85% white in a 2021 to 2022 federal survey of private schools. The most recent data available. Those 20 academies, all founded in the 1960s and 70s, brought in more than $20 million from the state in the past 3 years alone, right?
Yep.
As of 21-22, the schools, listen to this. Northeast Academy, a small Christian school in Northampton County on the Virginia border, is among them. As of 2021 to 2022 school year, the school's enrollment was 99% white in a county that runs 40% white. This is a 60% non-white county, and there is a school with a 99% enrollment taking taxpayer dollars.
Yep. Because that's the point. Listen, the only way that the United States has ever been able to move itself is on the backs of the exploited and impoverished. That's it. Where do you think, let me put it this way. Where do you think the military recruiters spend the most time? It's not in affluent areas. I guarantee you that. They're not going to fucking Beverly Hills, right? They're not going there. They're going to bumfuck Kentucky, where they got me, right? Because, hey, I know there's not a lot of jobs around here and education doesn't seem to be your thing. We've got something for you. We can get you out of here. A fucking home, guaranteed food, and a paycheck twice a week? Fucking sign me up. Why? Because what the fuck else did I have going on? Right?
If I didn't get a sports scholarship, I would have been right behind you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing. They ain't spending time. Military recruiters aren't spending time in rich neighborhoods or rich schools, right? They might show up there every now and then, but they're spending a majority of their time in schools where kids don't have the same opportunities. Why? Because that's easy numbers. Those kids are desperate to fucking get out. Desperate. And we can just keep feeding that fucking machine.
Exactly. Where do they want you to end up? The military, the prison pipeline, where that's a slave labor workforce for our economy. That's fueling states' economies, right? Yep. I mean, you have a few options. They have a few places they want you to end up, and it's not educated.
Let's talk about military recruiting for a second.
Corporate and corporate class and donor class.
It's definitely
That's not where they want you to end up.
And let's talk about military recruitment for a second. I don't know any recruiter that has never advocated for a recruit going into the military to not lie when it came to something that would have disqualified them from service. I don't know a single one. Every single recruiter that I know, like, oh, you have that kind of medical history? Well, just don't tell them about it. If they ask you if there's anything in your past that would be problematic to you serving in the military, you tell them no. It's predatory as fuck. Okay? It is predatory as fuck.
I once talked to FBI recruiters and they literally told me, "Oh, we want people with trauma, just not too much." Do you know what I mean? I mean, they literally said that to me. Like, "Oh, you're slightly damaged and highly intelligent."
Good.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, that's the thing. So what is the point of defunding education and rolling back child labor regulations? Well, it's because we need people to work, because this unregulated predatory capitalist society that we've all found ourselves in doesn't work unless they can be predatory to people. I don't want to pay you as much. Well, I'm sorry, I'm an adult, so you're going to have to pay me what I'm worth. Great. We'll just roll back child labor laws and start hiring them. Problem solved. Fucking America did it. We're great again, guys.
Think about it. By disbanding the Department of Education, by getting rid of equity in the public school system, now there is going to be this huge pool of children who have no hope.
Yep.
Right? That will be ready to just say, F it. Like, I'm going to the meat packing factory. You know what I mean? Like, that's the answer, because I can't do this.
It's almost like Republicans looked at the United States of America right now. It's like, you know what we don't have enough of? Children with black lung. We need more of that. We need more children suffering from black lung disease. That's what we need.
And deny them health care.
There's too many children with all their fingers. Get them in that meat processing plant. Got to protect those children. Here's the thing. Y'all want to know how this connects to abortion? Well, guess what, guys? We can't protect them in schools, so we need you to pop them out quicker so that we can have a child labor force that can offset them getting shot behind their desk. Boom. That's how you connect it to why they're so adamant about people not having fucking abortions. We need you to have those white babies specifically. Need you to have them.
Elmo said that, Elon, sorry, but that's what we call him on X. But he said that on Sunday. He was yelling that while trying to buy the Wisconsin Supreme Court election in Wisconsin, paid $100 for everyone who attended. That's what he was, in fact, yelling about. We need more babies. The birth rate's declining all around the world. If you're interested in learning about that, I mean, a very smart guy who was an advisor to like most presidents, his name's Ben J. Wattenberg. He wrote a book like in the early 80s called The Birth Dearth. Mm-hmm. And it was like the prediction, the statistical analysis of this, that by 2040, like the white birth rate was going to decline to a point where they would lose the majority in the country. And that's why you see, that's what is happening now, the attempt to clamp down and take over control. I talk about this all the time. Like, there's a report you can look up. It's called Pregnancy as a Crime. And it's fascinating because I was thinking, you know, at first I was like, oh, of course, where are they charging women with, where is it a crime to be pregnant? The South. Alabama's the worst of the worst, but, you know, all over the South. They just charged another woman with the desecration of a corpse who had a miscarriage in Georgia. This just happened again. It was not the first time. The first time I think was in Ohio. Yeah. But yeah, when you look at, now think about this. Who would they charge? Why would they charge? Who would it be criminal to, in their minds, like, why would it be a crime to be pregnant? It's not brown and black women, because do they value those babies? You have to think about what's in your stomach. Right. The majority of the people that are being charged with these types of crimes, like, imagine this. They get rid of healthcare, Medicaid expansion. They're closing hospitals in rural areas. It's a crime not to get prenatal care. Surprise. But it's a 2-hour drive to the nearest OBGYN to get an ultrasound. But it's a crime. And it's white women. Because they have white children in their stomachs. Yeah. Yep.
Can't have you getting rid of those babies. We need those babies. Because that's the United States. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And that's not what we're doing as like it's a new thing. That's what we've always done. Like this idea that, you know, we need to revamp the history of the United States to be more accurate on what we're doing. We're going the opposite direction. We're doing shit that makes people feel comfortable We're revamping and rewriting history so that white people are comfortable talking about the United States. Sorry, white people. As a fellow mayonnaise brigade, we don't get our comfort. We've had our comfort. We've had our time. We don't get to be comfortable anymore. Fucking sit in your shit. We've shit our pants. No, we're not changing you. Fucking sit in it. Sit in it.
Are you sure we don't need any more mediocre white men failing up?
No. As a matter of fact, I think we should. I think even like the white men that are competent need to take a step back and be like, all right, I don't know. There's too many fucking people. We need to take a step back and reevaluate our fucking shit.
If I hear one more beer, where's our safe spaces? Let me help you. It's It's called Western civilization.
Like,
that is your safe space.
Step
Welcome
outside.
to it.
Step outside. Literally, pick a direction, left, right, and walk. When you stop walking, you're in your safe space. White man. Period. Where's the white entertainment network? I'm like, oh, yeah, great. That's every other fucking channel. That's called
you can
CBS.
Think about it. You're going to get there. Think real hard.
It's called CBS, buddy. It's called CBS. All right. That's your white entertainment network. It's CBS. This whole thing. Why do they get their own award show? Well, because we don't include them in ours. You fucking idiot. Because we made a huge fucking deal about Halle Berry being the first black woman to win an Oscar in like 2006. Like, what the fuck? That's why. Why do they get their own national anthem? Because ours has been used to oppress them. Period. I mean, it's so stupid. So stupid. God damn.
Wicked is the best musical because that's the plot, right? Like,
it is.
That's the whole point.
I mean, they miss it.
Yeah, they don't even. I swear, so many people are watching Wicked and not getting it.
There are so many MAGA Republicans that are like, "Oh my god, I love Wicked." I'm like, do you? Do you? Do you know? It's that meme. It's like, you sure about that? You sure about that?
You sure about that?
You sure about
that? God, I could just see that guy's face. I love that, man.
Yeah. Oh my God. 90% of the movies that MAGA Republicans love, it's like, y'all missed the point on this shit. Y'all.
And then the other thing, like, I'm not switching, but just to piggyback off it. And then MAGA's cheering on. Like, have you seen that there are senators or people in the House and the Senate, Republicans, who have wanted posters of federal judges outside their office? And these are the people, and I just want to remind you, they used to be like, states' rights, brother. Mm-hmm. States' rights. Let's destroy the federal government. Mm-hmm. And now, the few checks and balances left are like, let's get rid of them.
Get rid of them, bro.
That's how, states' rights, brother, was built on what? What was 2A? What was 2A about? It was about arming people to track down runaway slaves and shoot them.
Weird.
That's what 2A was all about, was tracking down black people who were trying to make a run for their freedom and teaching them a lesson.
That's weird.
What else was states' rights about? Voter suppression, right?
Yep.
Jim Crow laws.
God damn it, TikTok.
Oh, the puzzle piece?
Yeah.
You can mute your system sounds like on your sound mixer on your computer. That's what I do.
Oh, dope. I'll have to go through and figure out how to fucking do that.
That's what I started doing.
I'm going to have to do that. Yeah. God damn.
I like it. I like the puzzle piece. It keeps you alert.
Ugh, it pisses me off. I'm like, of course I'm still here. I'm literally talking. You just interrupted me, TikTok. Fuck. Yeah. No, I think one of the things that is like just really irking me right now is this idea that Donald Trump is going to run for a third term.
Oh, I was talking about this yesterday.
Yeah. And just the amount of people that claim to love the Constitution being like, this is such a great idea. I'm like, no, I'm actually going to be going to a town hall here in Oswego that we're setting up, that not me, but Indivisible is setting up here for Claudia Tenney. She won't show up.
Oh my God. Did you see Greg Kassar with the paper cutout of Chip Roy behind like the picnic table? Oh my God. I die for this. Get it. Claudia Tenney is vile.
She's the worst.
She literally might be. She actually might be the worst. She is in competition with all of them.
Yeah, she's the worst. And it's been 700 days since she's had a town hall in her district. And so we are set, or not, I keep saying we, Indivisible here is setting up one, for a couple of weeks from now. And they keep sending her office invites. And I'm like, she ain't showing up. So I'm going to show up with a cardboard cutout of Claudia Tenney and just like sit it up behind a podium and be like, well, this is probably going to be a more intelligent conversation anyway. So, cause it's terrible. But I have held that any politician, I don't care where you're at, any politician that is hearing Donald Trump and his advisors and all these people coming out saying, we're going to run for a fucking third term and we're going to do it in 2028. Any politician that is not coming out and actively condemning everything that they're doing and starting to move to block whatever the fuck it is in violation of their oath of office. They have violated their oath of office to support the Constitution. Period. You are in violation of your oath.
Well, and when they voted to fund the government again, all those poison pills that are in it, one of the things was like, if you guys don't know, I mean, today's a really important day. It's election day in Wisconsin and Florida, but it's also, tomorrow is Mother effing Liberation Day, where they were like, we heard you're going to hit 15 countries with tariffs. He's like, no, all the countries. I mean, he's going to crash our economy tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
And probably to run cover for Putin so we can do something horrible. In my opinion, and somebody's going to short the markets tomorrow for sure.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be the biggest money grab of all time. That is what is happening when he does this. But anyways, I mean, that's literally what we're doing. And they voted for that, right?
Yep.
Like the president doing this tariff power, Congress can take it away anytime they want. And I hear Don Bacon, who, if you guys don't know, he's a moderate Republican who we actually need. I don't want Don Bacon to go because he'll just be replaced by another crazier person. But now he's on Sunday, he's on Sunday morning political shows saying, oh, we probably need to take this tariff power. Congress needs to take the tariff power away from Trump. Well, why'd you vote to fund the government that had those poison pills
that had it all in there? It's too late now. You've let the cat out of the bag.
And now you're out there because your constituents hate you.
Right.
People in Nebraska are pissed.
Yeah.
And are like, what the are you doing?
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh, maybe we should take it away. But you voted. We all watched you voted for it, knowing what you were doing. And in case anyone's curious, he has the power to keep manipulating the economy and tanking our economy through the end of the fiscal year. So through September 30th.
Yeah. I am going to bring up another guest. Hold on. Where is she? There she is. You know Jess, right? Felice?
Yeah, love Jess.
Yeah, we're going to bring Jess up. Maybe. She's always on the worst cell signal in the history of TikTok. She's probably going to come up and start talking about glitter beard bullshit. And I'm going to be so upset. Jess, re-request. You're not loading in. Re-request.
Let's get to 200K. Keep tapping the screen. Tapping. Let's work out our fingers. Who doesn't need a good finger workout? In my life, we all almost have arthritis. It's going great.
Just so y'all are aware, the Dow Jones is down 0.5% today. The S&P is up almost 0.25%, and the NASDAQ is up 67% today. So, or not 67%, 0.67%. Excuse me. They're not up 67%, 0.67%. And the S&P is up, a 0.25% today. So that's
short the market.
I'm telling you, they're.
I don't have money to, but if I did, I would. Like, if I had capital, all you need to make a fortune is capital. Unfortunately, I don't have it, but I mean, there's a very clear pattern of what is going on here.
Tomorrow is going to be wild. Tomorrow's going to be wild. So he's planning on delivering his remarks at a Make America Wealthy Again event in the White House Rose Garden at 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, is what he's planning.
Liberation Day, liberation from our retirement funds.
Yep. Oh my God.
MAGA's going to learn tomorrow. I can't.
Tomorrow's going to be wild. It's going to be so wild. Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, no. So anyway, the I still hold that any politician that's out there right now not actively coming out and speaking against what Donald Trump is talking about in this third term bullshit is in violation of their oath of office.
We got way off the topic. Yeah, no, sorry. My line of logic got
no,
way
it's
off.
okay.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, I went
off the beaten path.
I don't know where I wound up, but I'm like, wait a minute. Let me backtrack
so
I
do have things to say about that. So yeah, like there's three possible, there's four. I was listening to Mark Elias was on Brian Tyler Cohen's show, and he was like, oh, there's three ways he could stay in office. I was like, actually there's four, and I'm like a proponent of the fourth term. If I the way that Trump is constant, I just want to be clear about what Trump's doing when he's attacking Canada constantly, when he's attacking Greenland, when he's attacking Panama, when he's saying every ally we've ever had, we are now an enemy of. He's priming us for war, right? Like that's what he's doing. He has to create dissent. Mr. Global made an amazing video a couple days ago about why Trump is saying there's this trade deficit with Canada. If you think there's a trade deficit with Canada is a bad thing, then I know that you're an idiot who does not understand basic economics, right? I mean, that's what you tell me. If you want to be like, why are there 50 million people in Canada and 350 million people here, and there's a trade deficit? And he was playing some guy's video who was genuinely saying that he was like, yeah, it's because we're buying billions of barrels of oil from Canada.
Right.
And explaining it. But that's what Trump's doing. He's poisoning the well against Canada. So people will be like, they're stealing from us. Right. And I don't know who it's going to be. Right. Maybe it will be, he's aligned. He's and I don't want to say aligned like he works with Putin. I don't believe that. This is my opinion right now. But I think he very clearly is compromised by Putin. And I'm saying that there are books that can be read. There are multiple KGB agents that have defected since the early 80s that have said that he has been cultivated as an asset since the early 80s of the KGB. So, I mean, and I'm just, this is first hand accounts. Like Yuri Shvets is my favorite first hand account of it. Then there's the Comrade Krasnov stuff. I'm not even talking about, that's another KGB agent, but I read the book that Yuri Shvets is part of. And that's the reality of what Trump is. But I think he'll stay in office by declaring martial law. He was trying to do it at the end of his first term. If you read the federal indictment, the J6 indictment, that's why he was trying to get rid of the AG and install, what's his name? Kent? Or what's the crazy man's name?
I can't remember. The EPA lawyer or whatever. Was nothing.
And he was trying to install a new AG who was going to help him declare martial law and turn the military on U.S. citizens. He's already doing that at
Jeffrey
the border.
Clark. Thank you.
Jeffrey Clark. Thank you. God, thank you. Thanks, Fax. That's the best thing. Crowdsourcing information, when my brain shuts down, I don't have to remember anything.
Yep, I know.
I don't know.
It's so good.
I don't remember. Jeffrey Clark, the Christian nationalist. Yeah, that's what he was going to do. That's the easiest way to do it. That's what do you think Netanyahu's doing?
Right.
He's supposed to be gone a long time ago. He just declared martial law and is sitting there.
Right.
But there are other ways. Like one way is JD Vance could run, be elected, hand it to Trump. Right.
I mean, I guess
a shadow puppet president. No, legally it could happen. I mean, it's a legal loophole.
I guess he could, but it's not, because if you read the last sentence of the 12th Amendment, it says that the vice president can't be somebody that is not legally allowed to be president. And under the term limit of the term limit amendment of the Constitution, Donald Trump has served his 2 terms. So legally,
but
he's
who's
not
it up to?
Oh, yeah, no, it's up to the Supreme Court. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I understand what their justification is going to be and how they're going to go about it. What I'm saying is that, this idea, I'm just pointing out that it's not in fact a legal loophole. It's a we're banking on the Supreme Court to side with us loophole.
Well, and this is so Brian Tyler Cohen, who's amazing. If you don't follow him, follow him on YouTube. And Mark Elias, who he comes from Perkins Coie, like this fight Trump has with big law right now.
Yep.
It comes. Mark Elias, my brother, also matriculated from Perkins Coie. It's a huge law firm that started the investigation and prosecuted the Russia, the Trump campaign's involvement with Russia. That's why Trump hates Perkins Coie. That's why he hates Mark Elias. Mark Elias split off, started his own law firm, and now handles all the voting rights cases and stuff for the progressive movement. And this is him having a conversation yesterday with Brian Tyler Cohen about this subject.
It is not clear if what they have in mind here is that he runs for a 3rd term, which would clearly be prohibited by the U.S. Constitution. And to change that, to your point, you would need the Constitution to be amended, which frankly is never going to happen. It would require a vote in Congress. It would require the states. It's never going to happen. The second possibility is that what they have in mind is some kind of shenanigans by which he effectively, someone else runs for president, but he winds up president. We can walk through what that looks like. And then the third possibility is that he is essentially just the shadow president. He is not actually the president, but he controls presidential power. All of these would be authoritarian moves. All of these are consistent with Donald Trump's desire to be a dictator and not give up power. And all of them, and I want people to hear this loud and clear, need to be taken seriously. He's saying he's not joking. So like everyone in the legacy media, wake the fuck up. Like, this guy's not joking.
And if you don't know what he means when he says he's saying he's not joking, this Sunday, so 2 days ago, he was doing a phone interview, which I have the transcript I can read, with Kristen Welker from NBC News on a phone interview. The transcript is available for MAGA who struggles. I know you're going to have to read, but it's there if you want to see it. And he clarifies, no, I'm not joking about this. He says it over and over and over. Has he been joking about anything he said, or were we right? Has every single piece of Project 2025, I mean, there's a website you can use to look at that, like how much of Project 2025 have been enacted so far? It's the majority of it. Oh, that was Mark Elias talking. He comes from the Mark Elias law firm, originally from Perkins Coie. He handles all the voting rights, voter suppression cases. He is literally Trump. They hate him. He's Trump's arch nemesis. Like, for every 2 cases the conservatives win in court, Mark Elias wins probably 20.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's amazing. Yeah. No, but that's the thing. Sorry, I got distracted. Squirrels.
He's distracted all the time.
I'm like, Felisa's talking.
Judgment on distracted.
I was like, Felisa's talking, but a leaf also just fell outside. And I was like, oh shit. Wait, what? I'm talking. Hold on. Anyway, this whole thing is ridiculous, right? And I mean, it's not, when I say ridiculous, I mean in that the absurdity of where we have found ourselves in this country is ridiculous, right? Because this idea that, that conservatives have spun for years is that, we got to protect the Constitution. We got to protect the rule of law. We're the party of law and order. And now here they are literally saying, well, yeah, I know the Constitution says I can't, but what if I just did anyway?
That's the point. When they were about states' rights, brother, and they were about protect the Constitution, brother, that was when they were not in power.
Right.
Now that they've taken over the federal government, all of a sudden, if states' rights, brother, is protecting the rights of students on visas, if states' rights, brother, is giving due process to undocumented people, if states' rights, brother, is trying to protect the lower and middle class, all of a sudden they don't want to effing hear it anymore. All of a sudden, states' rights, brother, isn't a thing.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, right? And that's what they proved with the New York case, the gun case, where they were like, New York had laws saying that if you want a concealed carry permit, you have to be able to prove that your life is in immediate risk of danger, and a judge can then make that determination. And a gun and rod club or whatnot here in fucking New York was like, well, that's stupid. And they took it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And so they're all about states' rights. And then the Supreme Court overturned what New York's law was, right? And so they're all about states' rights until they're like, but I don't like that one. That one's dumb. And that's the whole thing. Like, it's never been about states' rights. It's always been about control. It's always been about, pushing this conservative, religious, theocratic bullshit all the time. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it ever has been.
Don't tread on me. I think the federal government's treading on people. You guys are just hypocrites that can't follow a line of logic. You guys are a joke.
100%. Don't tread on me unless you're Donald Trump. Then please, as much as you can.
Stand on my face.
That I want to just, like, every time I see a "Don't tread on me" flag, I'm just going to go put a little asterisk at the end of it. I'm just going to start doing that. I'm just going to, whatever, fuck it. Arrest me. I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to start putting asterisks and be like, well, clearly.
White man, you'll be fine. I will be. That you're going to make it through.
They'll be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm writing on this flag. And they're like, oh, okay.
I'll be zip tied, being tased, and you'll just.
Yeah. They'll be like, you were on a live with this guy, and now he's writing on flags. Hands up. Yeah. This whole thing. Goddamn. Remember when the United States stood up to fascists? I mean, it took us a little while. It took us a little while to do it, but. We did eventually be like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll do the right thing. Remember when we used to do that? And remember
real Antifa, the first Antifa. Yes, that's what we were talking. We had a brief conversation about this. Like, like to me, you are the embodiment of the resurgence of the first Antifa, like the 60s and 70s people that were like, no, if I see a schmutzy, I'm just gonna punch him in the face.
Yes, like on site. Like I leave my house every day hoping that today's the day. Like, maybe I'll see one today. Maybe I will.
For all of us.
Because here's the thing. I don't care. If you're doing Nazi bullshit, this is not a safe place for you. Anywhere in a 10-mile radius of me is not a safe space for you. I'm going to Iowa this weekend, so here's hoping.
Oh, you'll find some there, I'm sure.
Here's hoping. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I will be in Iowa this weekend for the April 5th. The fuck is Frith? April 5th protests, the hands-off protests. I will be in Iowa this weekend there. I can't remember exactly what city at the moment. I have it. I'll have to look. But yeah, I'll be there. I'll be speaking there at those protests. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time.
Tell me when you're going to protest. Maybe I'll come to one. There's another one. I don't know if anyone, I said this on my live yesterday. There's Bernie Sanders, NAOC, all of their little tour they did. I think they had a total of 86,000 in attendance. On April 12th, they're doing one in Los Angeles in a huge park. If you're anywhere on the West Coast, April 12th, around 1 p.m., they're doing another huge rally. I might try to make that one, but yeah, we need a calendar of these rallies so we can that's what I thought. Make some together.
I thought it was Mason City, but I was like, I don't think that's right. But it is right. I was right. I have to stop doubting myself. Mason City. Man. Yeah. Mason City, Iowa. This coming Saturday, 12:30. That's where I'm going to be. So we're going to be causing some good trouble down there. Be careful. Oh no, I'm looking for trouble. That's the only reason I leave my house. If I didn't go out with a plan to get in trouble, I would just never go out. I'd never leave my house. Like, no,
you have such a different experience of the world than me, but I'm jealous.
I know.
I'll live vicariously through you.
It's the Marine Corps war fighter side of me that pops out every now and then. It's like, you know what I want to do? I want to get into a fist fight. I know I won't. Sorry, Mrs. McAngry is in the chat. I won't. It's all hyperbolic. I'm being facetious. I know.
Family. No, very true.
I know.
But you also have a ton of privilege. So I'll give you that.
I do.
But I was talking,
yes.
I was like talking about this, like, the juxtaposition of the two. Like, I'm obsessed with these town halls. Like, if there's nothing I love more, I used to be like the protester that had like a lawyer's number, like my mom's number, like written on my arms, like I used to be like the Chicanos par la causa. Like I used to, would Rage Against the Machine, like the band would protest like in Phoenix. I used to be at all those protests. And like, so I was like an expert protester. But like the experience is just different for women, especially me, like a Mexican indigenous part black woman. It's just a different experience than for white men. Like you have this amazing privilege. Yes. Like I was talking about the town hall in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where a white woman, she's a doctor.
Right.
She had run for city council multiple times. And I think for state legislature as well. This is a well-known person, Teresa Bornpol. You can look it up. I mean, these videos are horrific. She never got out of her chair in a town hall, was just like everyone else, just yelling questions and things like these town halls go. She was zip tied, dragged out by her hair, not even by police. A lot of people are in trouble for this. The great news is it turns out like everyone who participated in this, lives are getting ruined now. But I mean, this is a woman, just a doctor who's very intelligent, who was asking questions at a town hall, was zip tied and dragged out by her hair. And first of all, the guy who orchestrated it, turns out they found Donish found a video of him for months before with a PowerPoint presentation targeting this woman and saying she's a problem. We need to get activists out of here. And people don't know this about me, but I played Division I volleyball. I played in Idaho, and like I understand like that panhandle of Idaho, that is the home of the Aryan Nation. Like in Coeur d'Alene and the cities surrounding that area, like Moscow and stuff. I mean, that is, believe me, the white nationalists, the Christian nationalists are thick as thieves up there, right? Like, I mean, I was not surprised to see that whatsoever. Meanwhile, in what is it? In North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina, there's a former Vietnam vet with a cast on his arm, like fighting people at a town hall.
I know him. I love that guy. He's a Gulf War vet. And did like 20 years in. His name's Jay. And he got up and just started going off.
Yeah,
and
he's
the
like
police
swinging
are there.
on people.
Yeah, the police are there and they like keep touching him. He's like pushing, like, get off me. And shit. I'm like, perfect.
They're like apologizing. The police are apologizing to him. Meanwhile, they're zip tying a doctor, dragging her out by her hair.
And that's why I keep saying that white men need to get more involved, because we have the privilege that other people don't. I can put my hands out like that to a police officer and they'll be like, sir, come on, let's go. Right? Meanwhile, a woman just sitting in her fucking seat yelling out a question is going to get dragged out by her hair. White men need to be doing more. White men need to be on the street more. I was out on the street yesterday. We need to be out on the street more. We need to be doing more. We need to be louder because we have that privilege. Recognize that white men have privilege and now start using that privilege to affect change.
For good.
Yes.
Right? You can use it for good. I couldn't agree more. And like, I resent it. Like, I wish I'm a very intelligent person. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I'm well researched, but because of the gender credibility gap, it is scientific. When I speak, people are going to listen to me less often.
Right.
Period. I resent it. I hate it, but it's true. So, I mean, I resent white privilege. I think we should seek to deconstruct and dismantle it, but recognize that you have it.
Until it's gone.
Recognize the value of it and use it.
Until it's gone, which it should be, right? Because equity is important. We shouldn't be, my voice should not be more important than yours. You are smarter, exponentially smarter than I am. Exponentially. I learned so much from Felice. And Felice, I say it all the time. I don't have an original thought about this shit. I don't. All I do is listen to what everybody else is saying, recognizing that you're not being listened to because you don't look like me. And I'll say, all right, well, if they're going to listen to me anyway, I'll just say what Felice is saying out of my mouth. And then they'll be like, oh, yeah.
What a great idea.
What a great idea, white man with a beard.
Why didn't anyone ever say that?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. And it's like, I don't have... listen, white men in this country don't have experiences that shape this country. We benefit from the oppression that other people have experienced, but we don't know oppression. We don't know discrimination in this country. Not systemically. We don't know it, right? We don't know it. And so when we come up and we're like, well, what I think is, shut the fuck up. We don't get to think. White man thinking is what has got us to this point right now. All right. White men being like, well, I think this is what's best. That's why we're fucking here. Right. That's why we're here. All right. So what white men need to do is, until that privilege that society has given us is gone and we're all truly on an equitable standing with one another, we need to be using the privilege that society gives us to elevate the marginalized messages, right? We need to be using the privilege that we have to go to these town halls and tell police to get their fucking hands off of us and continue screaming at a congressional representative. That's what we need to do.
I love this conversation. It gets me excited because it's true. Like, you have this amazing privilege, white men in society, and use it and think about and own it in a way, like deconstruct it, dismantle it, but also use it for the good, right? Like, all this aggression you have, all the testosterone pulsing through your veins, like, use it for a purpose.
That's what I'm saying. And like this idea that pushing for equality and equity and human rights somehow makes you weaker. You're missing so much here, fucking bros of the world. Do you understand how many altercations you're going to get in the world if you stand up for other people? There are so many white men in this country that are just looking for a fight. Just looking for a fight. Do you know how many fights?
You guys need adrenaline. Hey, someone that's what it like. I know, because like I said, I just noticed patterns of behavior, and like that, it's because you guys don't have enough challenge in the world, right? Like, you're moving through it pretty much unchallenged. So that's why you guys are like, I'm gonna go jump out of a plane, or like tie a rope to myself and jump out of a bridge, and like I invented this new extreme sport, because you guys are like looking for a challenge. Whereas like for women and for brown and black people and for the LGBTQIA, like we have our, we're just trying to make it through a day with no one noticing us.
Right.
It's just like the main call, faded to the background. And you guys are like, I'm looking for something. Like, this is the fight.
This is the something. If you're looking for that adrenaline kick every fucking day, this is it right here. Stand up for people. Stand up for people that are being oppressed by other white people. Listen, white men, the people that are going to be the most aggressive to you are other white men. Just, if you stand up and be like, hey, you know what? I think her voice is just as important as mine. Do you know how many white men come into my comments being like, you fucking beta cuck, right? Do you know how many white men do that? You are going to have so much time to prove how fucking manly you are by just standing up for fucking people. That's it. That's it. This idea that, oh, you're weak over here on the left because you want equal rights. No, motherfucker. That shit takes strength. strength. You need to have courage to stand up and do that. And then you need to have the cojones to fucking back it up. So fucking do it.
And women will love you for it.
Well, that's just a perk, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. But like, isn't that really what men want?
That is, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, there are ways, like, the attention you seek that you want, like, you can get it in positive ways. And like, that's the thing I think sometimes people miss. Like, oh, if I'm on the left, like, I hear, like, I'm a beta.
Right.
Like, is that true or is it not true?
I'm more stable than the alpha. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, I guess I'm a beta. Because, I mean,
I can follow a line of logic. Yeah. I think that's what it means.
I guess I'm a beta. Sure. Yeah, I'll be a beta. No worries. But if we're talking about software, alpha is just like so terrible. Beta is so much more, conducive to operating. But
You're
yeah,
hilarious. You made a funny.
I did. It was
You
terrible.
made a really good funny. But yeah, I mean, like, to me, like, the manosphere, all of these male creators who are like, we need to punish women because they don't want to have sex with me or whatever, like, I mean,
right.
Dr. Danny, who I work with, she has a research team that tracks like the rise of the manosphere and the hate towards women. I mean, if there was ever a fight that should be fought, there it is. And the problem, and the best part is, all of these men that are doing that, deeply insecure, reeking of insecurity. Like, you could smell it on them. Like, say that to them.
Yeah.
You are super insecure.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah. I hear it. I see it.
Yeah, I smell it on you. You wouldn't be doing this if you weren't insecure. Who punches down?
Right.
The patriarchy.
Exactly.
That's insecurity at its finest.
100%.
Like, if I'm picking a fight, it's with a worthy opponent.
Sure. Always.
Period.
If you're punching down, you're fucking weak. You're just weak.
Amen.
You can't handle yourself. You can't, you're just weak. That's just what it is. You're just weak.
That's the patriarchy. Shit rolls downhill. You know what I mean? Someone made me feel small. I mean,
So
Bell Hooks writes about
Yeah.
so I need to find someone smaller than me and I need to damage them. I mean,
Right.
that's the reality of what is going on in the patriarchy. That's how you're indoctrinated into it. Someone damages you into it. Like Bell Hooks, who's a black feminist who is amazing writer. If you don't know, check her out. She talks about it like the first victims of the patriarchy are actually men. Right? You are literally traumatized into it. Taught these rules that like someone's going to traumatize you and then you need to take that hurt and that pain. You can't express it outwardly. You're not allowed to cry. So you need to find someone else to traumatize.
Yep. That's it. That's it. And it's like you said, it's this idea that shit rolls downhill. I got hurt, so I'm going to go to whoever's below me or whoever I perceive to be lower than me, and I'm going to hurt them. Right. And most of the time for men, it's specifically white men, right? It's my boss at work yelled at me today. So I'm going to come home and yell at my wife and kids because they're lower in stature than I am. Instead of just fucking standing up to your boss, you're like, motherfucker. One of my favorite things to say, this is just a side note, I love doing this, is like pulling out my phone when somebody's saying some shit to me. And and I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, I'm Googling who the fuck you think you're talking to. I love saying that. I don't know why. It's just a fun little quip.
Well, and there's all sorts of things you can do. Like, even like, remember when Shane Morris would stand outside of AB clinics dressed as a clown?
Yeah.
And like shame protesters.
Yeah.
Like, there's all sorts of ways you can torment people. If you're a white man looking for a fight, if I was doing what Shane was doing out there, I'd be in jail.
Yes. 100%. 100%. But that all comes back to this privilege that white men have. We can do shit like that and then go home at night. And we need to start using that more. Get out on the fucking street. Join the protests. That's what it is. That's what it is. I went into Claudia Tenney's office 2 days ago with the printout of the Signal chat. And I was like, this is fucking bullshit, to her staffer.
Well, in Mike Waltz's defense, that guy's Goldberg's contact was sucked into his phone.
Sucked into it. Yeah.
It happens to all of us. How many contacts have been sucked into your guys' phones?
I feel like Mike Waltz has just given every like serial cheater their next excuse. I don't know how that contact got in there. It must have
just like Mike Waltz. It was sucked in.
It was sucked into my phone. I don't know. I don't know how it got there. I don't know who that is. Got sucked into my phone. But I went into her office and made a big to-do about it. And then walked out of her office and went home. Whereas I know that like anybody else that doesn't look like me, if they had done that, the police that are in that fucking building would have been outside that door watching at best, and at worst, they would have been dragged out in fucking handcuffs. Privilege. I can go to Claudia Tenney's office every single day and be like, your employer is a fucking terrible human being. They're a terrible human being.
Love that for you and for all of us.
Right. And I can do that. Not everybody can do that. Privilege. Use it. Fucking use it. It's not hard. It's fun.
And not to like Liam Neeson us all and do like a Taken thing, but we all have unique skill sets. Do you know what I'm saying? And there are things that women can do and spaces we can go in and conversations we can have.
Yes.
And same with the LGBTQIA and BIPOC folks. I mean, there's so many, we all have a unique skill set and spaces and places we're able to move through and have conversations that are super important. And that's what we need to be doing. Like, I mean, if there was ever a fight that mattered, we are watching democracy slip away.
Yep.
I mean, I honestly, and just as a realistic person, I don't even know if we can pull it back. I think we resist as long as possible. This might be a fruitless fight, but God knows we need to dig our heels in. And if we're going to take us, let them drag our dead body weight.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. And that's the thing. Oh, hello. A Nobel Prize winning economist warns of Donald Trump's recession. When was this? This was, when the fuck did, this was 11/21 today. Who was it? James Heckman, professor of economics at the University of Chicago, who said the fear of tariffs and the uncertainty about their magnitude and duration is causing the recession.
Oh, for sure. And can I just pause it? Because I've thought about this a lot and I can argue both sides of it, but like pretty well. But I think because it sounds crazy, right? Like he's going to anger everyone. If he's planning on never leaving office, right? Who cares if he drives us into a recession? Sure. And I just want to be very clear who benefits in a recession? People with capital.
Oh, yeah.
That's the facts. What happens in a recession is huge transfers of wealth from the lower and middle classes to the top of the economy.
Yep.
That is the point. They are stealing from us and enslaving us. Every bit of wealth. And I do statistical analysis. I presented them before on my lives about wealth transfers. Since Reagan, wealth has only been transferred to the top of the economy.
Yes.
Huge transfers of wealth straight to the top of the economy. And what little we have left driving us into a recession will go straight up. That's who benefits. And then think about it. Like when they do these liberation days, it's not just now transfers of wealth to the top of the economy, but it's transfers of wealth to specific people, right? At the top of the economy, right? People who know to short markets, people who are going to benefit from these things. It's consolidation of wealth and consolidation of power.
Yes. That has always been the goal. That has always been the goal, is to consolidate wealth in the few, to consolidate power in the few. That's the goal. We're not of the people. We've never been of the people in this country. That might have been the intent when it started, but it's never been the practice ever. It has always, and there's been numerous studies to back that up. There's been numerous studies to back that up. That the people with the most money, the corporations, the billionaires, when they support legislation that gets passed way more often than when everybody else supports legislation. That's just a fact.
And I want to acknowledge people in the comments because I think people are right. It's like, what are the levers of power that we, the people, still have? There's two things, right? We can grind our economy to a halt. There's the general strike. And I think it's like generalstrike.com if you're interested. Not everyone even has to strike. We need to get a critical mass of like millions of people to strike.
Yeah.
I would say to look at that. And then the other thing is we stop consumption. We grind our economy is based on consumerism, consumption. And if we stop consuming, that's another way to grind the economy to a halt. Those are the only two levers of power we have left. Look at MAGA and J6. That's idiocy.
Right.
We are not going to use force to do anything.
Yep.
We have to stop doing things.
Yep. That's it. And that's what I'm saying. Like this idea that, and this is why I don't like the debate spaces anymore. Right. So it doesn't do anything.
Because idiocy.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're not going to convince anybody that's still MAGA to change their mind. You're just not. They're in it, and they're not coming back. Whether it's the sunk cost fallacy or, just blind incompetence and ignorance to the world around them, doesn't matter. If they're still walking around with their red hat on, that's it. They're gone, guys. They're gone. All right. And it's going to take something horrific happening to them personally to shake them up a little bit. Right. Empathy, the sin of empathy is not in their language. That's not in their vocabulary. Right. The sin of empathy.
And people wonder, like, why do narcissists thrive in this society? It's because it's the values that are valued in capitalism. What are narcissists? Transactional, unemotional users.
Right.
Those are the values that are now valued in capitalism. That is why it's like, why are narcissists constantly thriving in our society? Like, what, to me, nationalism is the narcissism of many.
Yes.
I mean, that's quite honestly what it is at this point. And as long as we remain in capitalism and we don't move back towards the collective and vulnerability, of course they will thrive.
Right.
Those are the values that capitalism embodies.
Yep.
Unemotional, individualistic transactionalism.
100%. Yep. And that is the United States of America. It has always been that way. Always been that way. We have always been a nation that puts profits and property over people and progress. Period. If the rich continue, and we've sold this idea, and we've made it easy for that, right? Noam Chomsky says, I love this quote, I say it all the time, that the greatest lie sold to the American worker isn't that they are a exploited labor, but a temporarily embarrassed millionaire.
Can I just say something real quick? Just to Rocky Rush Rivera in the comments who said, nag, 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 blah, 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 lady, shut up. All you're doing, Rocky, is saying that your brain doesn't work. I am saying things that you have no idea what they mean. Like, you are just telling on yourself. I am making perfect sense. I am quite intelligent. You are listening to an intellectual speak, and you are intimidated and insecure. Sorry, but I digress. And I love Noam Chomsky.
Yeah. Rocky's
an embarrassment to himself and everyone else. This is the problem. Rocky could not find his way out of a paper bag if his life depended upon it.
Rocky has such a deep crush on me that he gets jealous when anybody else has time on my panel. That's what it is. Rocky is always here. He's got such a deep love of my voice that
I'm sorry. He addressed me, so I was just addressing Rocky.
No.
I'm sorry
Rocky's,
that your brain's not working so good. I know what I talk about is very confusing for people like you.
Rocky is the worst.
Math and words are hard.
Rocky's the worst. He usually gets to chirp for a minute or two, and then he gets muted, and then he'll show back up tomorrow and doing the same shit because he just can't stay away. He loves me too much. But yeah, that's, this American dream is such a lie, right? It's such a lie. This white picket fence, 2.5 fucking kids, car in the garage. That whole thing is a fucking lie, right? And it always has been. And it started, really getting perpetrated in the lead up to and during the Great Depression when we started pushing this American ruggedness, right? This hyper individualism that you can do better if you just did more, right? Don't lean on your community. Don't ask for help. Just do more, right? And that I think that ideology that has permeated through history and just gotten more and more intense. Where like if you ask for help, you're weak. Because this, as Americans, we just pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? And
which was originally ironic, right?
Yes,
this is something that was said in the 20s and 30s. Like the point
because
was,
it's impossible
you can't
to do
effing do that,
right? Yes, because
and
it's
now
impossible.
Bag is like, pull yourself up like your bootstraps. That's another sign, Rocky, of you being an idiot,
right?
Because you don't know anything about history. As someone with a history degree, I pity your idiocy.
And that's what I'm saying. But like this idea that as Americans, we pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and we just get shit done and all this one. And if you're in a bad way, it's because you haven't worked hard enough. Not because systems have been put in place to keep you down. Not because there is systemic oppression that regulates where you can and can't work and live. Redlining doesn't exist ever, I guess, right? The reason that people are impoverished is because you didn't do enough, not because the system has been unfairly stacked against you. There are poor...
Which is a sign you can't do basic math.
Exactly.
Right? There's a finite amount of resources in the world. It's not because you didn't do enough. And that's the point. Christianity was one of the fastest spreading ideologies in the world. Yep. And what was the only thing to outpace it? Marxism.
Right.
And that's the thing. Why do you think one of the largest effective I come from the world of advertising. I was not just a teacher. I used to work in advertising. And that's one of the best PR advertising lies told of all times. Advertising is just psyops. We're reverse engineering ideas into people's head. And everybody in America, and not everyone, there's people in here that know, I'm sure of that. But if I ask 9 out of 10 people in America, to them, communism and Marxism is a bad word.
Right.
Communism and Marxism has never existed in any state in the world. It's stateless, it's classless, it's moneyless, right? Marxism is the idea that laborers should have share in equity, right? Communism is a dream. But again, when Marx talked about communism as an ideal, this was a white man from Europe saying, hey, if we evolve into the right area, maybe one day this is possible. Meanwhile, there are brown and black people, as when I disappeared into South America after my stint in corporate America, into the Amazon, there were brown and black people very successfully with no contact into the free world, living communally. Right. Communism is not an idea invented by Marx. It's a way people live.
It's a way people lived. Right.
And still live in the Amazon.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Props to the United States propaganda machine, because it's effective. It does.
Let me help you. The Chinese Communist Party, they're not communists.
They're not communist.
Authoritarian. Let me help you. The Schmatzy Socialist Party, they weren't socialists. What do you think the Night of the Long Knives was?
Right.
It was not going after their enemies. It was the culling of the true believers.
Right.
The brown shirts who were actual socialists, who thought that what was going to happen was Hitler was going to take over, and then we're all going to share in the equity. We're going to own the means of production together. And then he had to off all those people because he had no intention of sharing anything.
Exactly.
That's the truth. Just because you hear a word, Cuba, not communist. Venezuela, not communist. Surprise. If you have borders, if you have currency, not communism.
Right.
But that would require reading a book.
And understanding. Comprehension. And we know that words are hard for most of you. Most of you MAGA, if it's not said by Barney, you're going to have a hard time understanding it. I get it.
Yes, Seabass, I know who the Sentinelese are, and that weirdo missionary who was like determined to go over there.
Right,
The Sentinelese are a culture of people who were untouched by the modern world. And then like some weird missionary kid was like insane, in like feverish religiosity, decided they needed him to like go over there. I mean, that's what happens to those communities. Any contact with the outside world ruins them.
Right. Which is why they just don't have contact with anyone, and anyone that tries to have contact with them doesn't make it off of that island. That's why it's illegal to go there. You're not allowed to go. Just leave them alone.
Johnny's hairline said, "You won't debate me. You're scared." No, I'm too smart to debate you. I am too. That's what it is. That's charity work. I'm no longer doing charity.
Like Johnny's hairline. Let me help him run away a little bit. There we go. There. We've helped Johnny's hairline disappear further.
Recede
further.
From the live.
There you go. There you go, Johnny's hairline. Yeah, he called me stolen valor in the chat.
Bless his heart.
I know.
Bless him. They're trying so hard.
It made me feel good. I collect those now. Johnny's another one. Another obsessive fan. That was probably Rocky in just another account.
It was his back. That's what happens to me. I just block people on my life. I don't care. Like, I've got something to do. If you're distracting people, then you've got to go. I had one guy come back on like 7 accounts. It's like, well, this is sad for you.
It is. And my mods out here are dope as fuck. Hey, W in the chat for the mods who have been putting in work. Because these conversations trigger a lot of insecure people. And they've been muting and blocking and all kinds of shit this entire time. So the mods are fucking working it today. Working it. Putting in that time. Love my mods. Felice, I know you probably think you have the best mods, but you don't. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we all do. I think mods are miracles. And I think we probably have some of the same ones.
We probably do.
There's like definitely overlap.
We all overlap the same mods.
I couldn't do it. I have no restraint. I wouldn't be allowed to be a mod.
Yeah.
I'd be terrorizing people, like following them home.
Yep.
Someone's...
I love it.
Gregory, that's not nice.
Oh, I think he meant to say does. Gregory is a...
Yeah.
Greg's
I do. I have the best mods. I do agree with that. But I also think there's a lot of overlap between all of us.
Yeah. 100%.
I was like, Gregory. Joanna's the best mod. I know. I was going to say that. I was like, I digress.
Oh, yeah. It's, but, okay. So I want to circle back to something that you said earlier about Donald Trump wanting to just enact martial law so that he doesn't have to leave office. I've been talking about that. Me and Jolly have been talking about that for a while now, because the overall goal isn't, let me just put it this way. Enacting martial law in the United States will never be something that will be enforceable, right? The United States is too big. There's not enough military personnel to be able to adequately police the entirety of the United States. It's just not. But the point isn't to force people to stay in their homes.
Of course not. It's
the point is
Trump in office.
To keep Trump in office. Exactly. And so
it's not about anything else, just saying we're in war, so I'm staying.
Yeah. And so the steps is the Alien Enemies Act, which he's already enacted, and then it'll go to the Insurrection Act, and then it'll be enacting martial law nationwide, right? And that's the steps. And once that's done, then you're just going to watch the suspension of the Constitution. I would be surprised if Congress isn't dissolved, and that whole thing at the end of Star Wars Episode 3 when the Emperor reorganizes the Galactic Republic into the first Galactic Empire. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to see.
And then Elon, as I call him, is banking on Trump unaliving eventually because of age. And then he gets to usher in his new technocracy, right? Which was what his grandfather was trying to do years ago. None of these are ideas any of these people came up with on their own. They're just regurgitating old ideas. But you would have to be taught history to understand that, which we don't teach people anything in this country.
Exactly.
Oh, Megan, thank you so much for the $4.44. They're extra mad in Matt's comments because you're a smart woman speaking out. I concur. Thank you so much, Megan. Yeah, guys, my Venmo and Cash App is just like my name. A girl has no name, same spelling. And also, like, it's that way across the internet. You can follow me on X, Blue Sky, YouTube, wherever.
Yep. And I'm all of my stuff is USMC Angry Veteran everywhere also. If you have subscriptions here on TikTok, I would recommend getting rid of those because this app's probably going away in a few days anyway. And head over to usmcangryveteran.com. You can subscribe over there and keep track of where we wind up. I'm also on YouTube, Blue Sky, Instagram. I'm a beta in Neptune. Boop, boop. Got into the Neptune app, so we're over there now too. Yeah. That's I don't know.
Someone asked if I'm going live today. No, I don't do. The only day I don't do the people's receipts is on Tuesday. So I'll do it again tomorrow, 11:30 Pacific time, 2:30 Eastern. It's a great time. Come join.
Hell yeah. And I'm just going to require Felice to just come to our live on Tuesdays from now on.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it.
Forever.
I'm in. I love this. And we can like have subjects and yell at people. It'll be fun.
Love it.
Love that.
What
time is your live usually end? Just so I know. I didn't know what time it started.
In about another 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
I usually go for 3 hours and then hop off and figure out what else I'm going to scream about on the internet.
Can we talk about Signalgate first? Well, not Signalgate, but just in general. Well, this is my thing. Like, okay, so first of all, forget Signalgate. Like, I just want to talk about, I will not do this. I'm not really going to do it, but like, I want to bring up Benghazi. Does everyone remember when 4 people were unalived in Benghazi? And we had hundreds of hearings and investigations, and it was never heard the end of it. Like, there are 4 soldiers who were unalived in Lithuania, and Trump didn't even know. He was sitting in the White House and was like, "What are you talking about?" If that had happened on a Democratic president's watch, and I'm just following, because MAGA, here's the thing: you have to learn to follow lines of logic. What I learned from watching you all while Biden was president, right, was that anything that happens the day the president gets into office, anything that happens to this country is his fault.
It's his
period.
fault. Yep.
And now I'm watching you change that line of logic, and somehow nothing is Trump's fault. You won't hold him accountable for anything. It's the strangest thing. We should be having hearing after hearing of how Donald Trump didn't know 4 soldiers had disappeared and unalived in Lithuania. And then on top of that, we have Signalgate, which should be criminal trials, literal criminal trials. If there was a Democratic president in charge when that happened, it would never end. I know, Bren, that's a great point. It's like their backs must be exhausted. Goalposts are heavy. I don't know what it's like to drag one on my back personally. I like to just deal in facts and numbers so that I don't have to literally put a goalpost on my back and drag it around. But Mega could probably speak more eloquently to that than I could. Like, the pain and suffering involved.
I don't know if eloquently they could speak about it, but they could speak about it.
They could mutter.
They could formulate sounds about it. No, but that's the whole thing, right? because here we have everybody was all up in arms about Hillary Clinton using a private email server to discuss Department of State business in her basement. Really upset about it. Okay. Yeah. Hey, look, I wasn't a big fan of that either. Okay. But
I'm still as MAGA thinking that she literally poured bleach on that server. Still to this day, they don't understand that BleachBit is a computer program.
Yeah.
They still believe. Do you know how many people? That's why I had to stop debating. When I realized that 99% of MAGA thinks that somebody poured bleach on that server. Meanwhile, Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago had his servers flooded.
Literally had print
he
out
probably
documents.
really thought, he's like, well, Hillary poured bleach on it, so I think I'll just.
And then the sitting Secretary of Defense puts into an unsecure messaging app with an unvetted group of people the by-minute plans for an airstrike over Yemeni airspace. And it's not a big deal. We've got Mark Wayne Mullins going out there on every fucking...
Mark Wayne, I don't have a brain Mullen, that
goes out on every fucking news outlet that will give him time to talk about how this isn't that big of a fucking deal. Meanwhile, Jake Teixeira, you remember Jake Teixeira? The Discord server, the guy that did just
what Trump did is locked up for life.
Yeah, sent classified and sensitive information about fighter jets to prove to his War Thunder guild that he's a smart, cool dude. Is doing 17 years in federal prison for that, but giving out the by minute over 4 hours plans for an airstrike over hostile airspace is not a big deal. Insane. The cognitive dissonance, the break in logic, the gap that exists between the two halves of the brain of a MAGA person is vast. Vast. My God, you can't even see the two sides. It's insane.
They just get angry and they're like, you're an idiot. And it's like, no, that's not what's happening here.
And then for Pete Hegseth, at the end of that detailed breakdown, to be like, we're clean on OPSEC. We're clean on OPSEC. Did you get that? Editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, who was accidentally added to this group. We're clean on OPSEC. We've kept this close to the chest. Insane. Insane. Yeah.
And this is the point. This is why you don't put an unvetted, unqualified group of buffoons in power. Tulsi Gabbard, did you watch the hearing?
Oh my God. Yeah, I did. Well, I watched it on the first day.
Talk about people that are idiots. These are all idiots.
I watched it on the first day where she's like, there was nothing sensitive or classified in that information.
They're like, then you can tell us what it is, idiot.
And they're like, no, we can't do that. And then on the second day, when, what was it? Jeffrey Goldberg was like, okay, here's everything then. If it's not classified or sensitive, here's all of it. And then Tulsi Gabbard being like, oh, I forgot that was in there. What the fuck? I forgot that was
embarrassment.
There.
She's
They're
an embarrassment.
all embarrassment.
And when the only qualification is that you will pledge your undying loyalty to a literal idiot.
That's it.
Right. And no. And it also helps if you've been credibly accused of SA or helped someone cover up SA. Don't forget that. That's also a good one.
Or if you have direct ties to the Kremlin.
Yeah. That's a great one.
Amazing. That gets you the director of national intelligence position.
Exactly. We literally all work for Putin. And that's why we need to destroy education. So no one knows what's going on. Like, people think they've just discovered Russia's not that bad. You guys are idiots. Read a book.
There are so many conservatives that are going out there now with this narrative that we've been taught our whole lives that Russia was the enemy when it was actually Europe the whole time. Like, Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck?
And there are layers to that. Like, right, we are empire. We are, if there's the most horrible country, that is us. Like, it was the British Empire was empire and has done. I mean, I'm saying, as from a perspective of brown and black indigenous people that have been terrorized by, states. Obviously, the British Empire is probably number one. Then we're like, hey, we've got it from here. We'd like to terrorize indigenous people, steal the resources from under their feet, and enslave them for slave labor. I mean, that's capitalism. Yeah. That's the nature of the beast. And then, like, we use the industrial military complex to fuel our economy and to further that objective. Around the world. Like, I'm not saying we're innocent and we're right. We are not on the moral high ground.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
But wake the F up about Russia. Like, it's a joke.
Yes. And it's absolutely I've been seeing this so much on, like, my Facebook, my personal Facebook, with conservative people that have not been blocked yet for whatever reason, being like, Russia's actually the good guys, you all. Like, you are out of your fucking mind. You're out of your fucking mind. You are so deep in the cult that you're
everything coming out of the right, and they don't know it, can be traced back to Russian propaganda. Do you know the whole FEMA's a scam thing?
Oh,
that is directly traced back to Russia directly. And they're parroting it like they had that thought. Yeah. This is why I say I come from the advertising world. I was paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to reverse engineer ideas into people's heads.
Right.
Look up Dr. Robert Sapolsky, amazing PhD at Stanford. He talks about how we have no free will. I'm not saying we are causal agents. We can make choices, but we are a sum total of things going back thousands of years, right?
Yes.
Like, you think that you are in control and you are thinking these things on your own. You are not. Well, that's why research is important. What is a primary source? What is a secondary source? How do I fact check these things?
Right.
What is critical thinking? That's why it's important. And that's why Trump has it's conservatives, not Trump. Trump is an idiot. Has a vested interest in none of us ever going to college. That's the first level of education in this country where you will be taught to question authority, to think critically, to ask why. And they don't want anyone to ever reach that point.
Yep. They don't want you doing that. You are easy to control if you never ask questions. If you just accept what's being sent to you. If you just accept it, it is so much easier to control you than somebody that's like, wait, is this true?
Could not agree more. I mean, I say it, and that's why, and I just want to be clear, you don't have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars at university to learn. The best educations I've ever gotten, I've given to myself. You just have to have a thirst for knowledge. Right. And that's why I'm so sad that TikTok might be taken over and ruined, because one of the best educations I was ever given was from this app.
Right. Yep. That's what I'm saying.
That's why it's dangerous, right? Like, think about it. In capitalism, information, the trafficking of information and news, we used to be only controlled by the rich. And with the advent of social media, that is changing. There are independent sources where people are getting ideas and information from. And that is very dangerous in capitalism. And that's why you see people like Elmo taking over Twitter.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Controlling the algorithm, controlling the output of ideas is very important.
Yep. That's it. If you can control what people think, what they say. That's why there was so much Russian interference in the 2016 election. Proven that Russia was interfering with disinformation campaigns and social media campaigns to influence the way that people were voting. And they're still doing it. So let me just real quick. I just want to give a congratulations out to Russia for playing the long game and eventually winning the Cold War. Congratulations. You guys, you did it.
100%.
Yeah.
They did.
You played the long game. Yeah. Yeah. We thought it was over when the USSR fell in the early 90s. But no, you guys stuck to your guns and just pivoted, found a way around that little hiccup and speed bump in history. And here we are. Here we are. You guys, you did it. Way to go. Way to go. Now you've got a majority of the conservative Christian right in the United States of America believing that Europe is actually the bad guys and Russia is the good guys. So
they would believe anything. They think FEMA is a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing the right will believe when you can't think, when you were never taught to think critically. And I'll say this as a teacher, I think the education system has failed many people, right? Like in many ways. Mm-hmm. Like, and as a teacher, like I don't sit there and think, oh, who deserves an education? It's everyone.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard.
It is. It is.
It's many layers. I could debate both sides of what I just said.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I need. Let me see here. Hold on.
Yeah, Cory Booker's still protesting on the House floor. I think that's great, and I think we need more Congress people doing things like this. Like I think Tootle just said, there's like 334,000. Can we get to 300K before the live ends? Can everyone just aggressively tap the screen so we can get to 300K?
Have you ever been here for one of our birthday celebrations, Felice?
I don't think so. What's a birthday celebration?
Well, I need Filipina Zena to request up here. Filipina Zena, if you are here, request up. We're gonna fill the box.
Nothing better than civil disobedience, and hopefully people will follow Cory Booker's lead and do more things like this.
She asked for a very specific song, not our normal one that we usually play. She asked for a different one. And so we're going to do that.
I've seen Matt dance. Is that something very weird about to happen?
Oh yeah, no. Weird shit is about to happen. All right. Everybody, if you're in the Discord, everybody go tag Filipina Zena and let her know that her presence is requested. Hi, Kiki. I see you down there. Oh yeah. While we're waiting for our friend to come up here, I'm gonna bring some people up.
Chelsea, yay!
Hi, Chelsea. I know. Remind everybody that today is the day for special elections in Florida and Wisconsin. Yeah. So get your asses. There she is. Get your asses out. Go vote. Do your shit. Wisconsin, the two special elections down in Florida are ridiculously important. We need as many people as possible to show up for this. So get out and vote. It's very important. Hello, Zena. How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
All right. Let's see here.
Followed you. Happy birthday.
Who else?
Oh, thank you.
All right. So if I remember correctly, you wanted Flogging Molly. You wanted Drunken Lullaby, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay, dope. Here we go. So let me get this going here, and we'll turn that off there. All right. We don't usually do Flogging Molly for birthdays, but this was a special request, so we're going to do it.
As you know, things get crazy. All right, here we go. Everybody get ready to dance.
I will haunt your dreams. Happy birthday. You'll
Holy
never forget
shit.
that. It will be in your nightmares.
All right, how was that?
That was the best thing ever.
Love that. We need good vibes. That's good vibes.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, my friend. All right. You know the rules, though. So, what are you doing for your birthday that is just for you?
I am getting ready to go to Disney World for Saturday.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah. Let's go. All right. Well, you have just the absolute best fucking time possible. All right.
Pleasure Activism. It's a book. It's a New York Times bestseller. Don't let the Donald Trump or fascism take away your enjoyment. Enjoy life. That's how we
Absolutely.
stick it to the man. Have a good time.
No.
You picked such a good song, too. That is such a high energy, fun song.
This is my favorite creator, and I watch her every day. So the fact that it was
I love you, and I didn't know I wasn't following you, so I apologize because I know exactly who you are. Thanks for always being there. You're the best.
All right, my friend. Well, you have a blast at Disney, and go to Hollywood Studios and get some blue milk from Galaxy's Edge for me because I am.
Go to.
It's not part of Disney World. Matt is suggesting you go to another location.
That is part of Disney World.
Oh, is it? I thought you. Universal Studios, or what are you talking about? Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios. It's
okay.
yeah,
Sorry, I
it's at Disney World.
Rock and roller coaster there.
They do. Yeah, they just redid it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I love it. So go. I don't think they have they don't have Soarin' over California in Florida, right? They only.
They do. No, they have Soarin'.
Go to that.
It's not just over California, but
like the most addicting thing in the whole wide worord.
Soarin's the best. We're like giving you a bunch of.
Wish I had a kid so it wasn't creepy if I hung out at amusement parks.
All right, you know what, Felice? We're just gonna all take a creator trip to Disney. Is what we're doing. Yeah, that's just gonna be what we're doing.
Let's do
planning
it.
this.
Yeah. Well, listen, I put it out there, so I'm sure Victoria has already invited about 14,000 people.
Process though.
So
there will be vetting done.
Oh,
Clearly, we're not great at vetting, so
we're getting better. We're getting better.
No business
onwards
vetting.
and upwards.
We're getting better. It's good. All right. Zena, my friend, you are amazing. Thank you so much for being here all the time, being a part of the community. I hope you have a blast at Disney World. Find your joy. Joy is resistance as well. Be happy. Enjoy your time. Don't let the world get you down while you're there. Happy birthday.
And while you're in Florida, just encourage people in districts 1 and 6 to go vote. Just while you're on your way.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to eat you. You ready? All right, here we go.
So nice to meet you, Filipina. You're awesome. Have a great day. That makes me happy. And truly, don't let the political landscape steal your joy. That's how we resist. Is finding pleasure in life despite these weirdos.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad I could be here for Felice's first time singing the birthday dances.
Oh my God.
I've seen Matt dance before, so it's not. I've seen the spastic this many times. I love it.
It's kind of crazy. We get a little nuts.
I like it.
Get a little nuts.
Anything to get the blood flow, like the endorphins flowing. I'm all about it.
Yeah, we gotta end on gotta end on a good note, so we usually do birthday celebration ridiculousness at the end because we got to go out in the world with a little bit of joy. It can't be doom and gloom all the time. Got to find some reason to smile, some reason to laugh. So there's a lot of terrible out there, and you got to find those things that make it worth going out into it. So if that happens to be my ridiculous chair dancing and silly voice on TikTok, then as long as TikTok's here, I'll keep doing it.
People are asking how did they get a birthday celebration. If you message Matt and you tell him what day is your birthday.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just like, all right, yeah, whoever's birthday it is, we'll bring you up. We'll do it all at the same time.
I just want to say all of our future is chair dancing and chair aerobics. I used to go visit my grandma in the old folks home, and that's what they do. I literally would take like chair dancing and chair aerobics classes.
Yeah, I'm just getting a head start on the rest of you guys. That's all it is.
That's where we'll all be in a few years.
I'm just getting a head start on the rest of y'all. I'm gonna be number one chair aerobics in the nursing home.
Are we gonna do like a flash mob situation at Disney? Is that what we're gonna do while we're there?
I mean, flash mob requires some kind of planning and rehearsing and shit.
And Matt
beforehand.
has to work on coordination. So.
And that's not good. There's no amount of work that can be done to fix that. So it's just not going to happen. No. So the long answer there was no. No. The short answer is no. So that's not going to happen. That was the long answer. The short answer is absolutely not. We're just going to show up.
We're going to make this a thing then on Tuesdays. Is that correct? Because I'm going to start planning. Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm totally down. I mean, TikTok might not be here next Tuesday, so I'll have to figure out what we're doing. But yeah, Tuesdays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, or I can do it on Streamlabs and push it out. Like I already can do it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
100%. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, Chelsea, how are you? I love you.
I'm good. I love you guys too.
Okay. Yeah. I'm always excited to see you back in the panel.
I know. I missed it. I needed it.
I know. I'm always excited when you request to come up. So. All right. We're gonna close it down today. This was Felice, thanks for hanging out today. This was a lot of fun.
The pleasure is mine.
This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. Let's not be strangers.
Of course. Anytime. This was good. This was a lot of good conversation and everything, and I really appreciated it. And I also appreciated that there were no MAGAs in the live today. I appreciate that also. None of them came up into the box. We didn't bring them up. We just had conversations, talked about the world, made fun of people. It was a good time.
It's always a good time.
A good time was had by all. So again, I'll be doing the People's Receipts tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, 2:30 Eastern. Hope to see you all there with your tapping fingers on. Have a great day. Thank you guys for having me. You guys have such an amazing community, and I am blessed to be here. And I hope if this app exists, I shall see you guys next Tuesday.
Of course. All right, I'm going to eat us all at the same time. You ready? Here we go. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Later, Gators.